I don't think it can get much better than this.
They look absolutely spectacular.
Let's go, man. I love IndyCar racing.
Live from the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course in Lexington, Ohio. This is the NTT IndyCar Series on the IndyCar Radio Network.
The championship chase resumes, and it does so at the beautiful Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, just north of Columbus, Lexington, Ohio. Happy Independence Day weekend, everyone. Welcome to the NTT IndyCar Series on IndyCar Radio. Mark James along with Davey Hamilton. And Davey, is people join us for the thousands, and I mean thousands, that have piled into the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Driver introductions already underway. They're already making their way around the course, and I tell you, one of the greatest pictures, besides the fact that the fans are here, is what we're seeing right now, and it's drivers as they're introduced heading to the cars, interacting with fans as they leave the podium.
Yeah, you have to love that. And as you just said, thousands and thousands of people. The campers are having a blast here. The fireworks were going off last night, Mark, all ready for this moment. And it is exciting watching these drivers get introduced, come down through the fans, and letting them get a first-hand fist pump with Joseph Newgarden right now. So they do it right here for sure.
A lot of familiarity, Davey, when it comes to this front row. It's Joseph Newgarden on pole, and it's Colton Herta P2, the third consecutive race that's been the case to the green flag.
Wow, that's amazing. And just having those two 3 times in a row being on that front row is pretty remarkable, and how close of speed they are. Now, you got to remember, it's 2 different teams. You got a Penske team and you got an Andretti team. So they're not sharing notes. They're not sharing race cars, and one has a Honda and one has a Chevrolet. It's pretty remarkable that those two are so dominant in qualifying right now in the series.
Many wondering when Team Penske is going to get back to their winning ways. It's hard to believe we're this deep into the season. They've yet to win, but Davey, it's not as though they haven't had their opportunities.
Yeah, they've had plenty of opportunities. They haven't been able to seal the deal, and we know that Will Power, with 4 laps to go, red flag comes out, ECU overheats in Detroit, had that race won. Unfortunately, with 4 to go, car wouldn't start, puts him out of the game. Joseph Newgarden has led so many laps in the last couple races. Had a gearbox on one of them, and the other one was a racing deal. He had red tires on, and they just didn't hold up in a long run, and that allowed Pato O'Ward to get by for the win, but he still finished second. So, as you said, and there were some early in the year that got away from him as well. And you got to remember that Joseph Newgarden, who's battling for a championship again, finds himself 4th right now in that championship hunt. Very first race, Mark, going up that hill at Barber, and lost control, spun out, took several not only point contenders and lost a lot of points there as well.
Let's welcome in our pit reporters talking to some of the field of 26 starting today. Let's welcome in Alex Wolf.
Ryan Norman making his first start in the NTT IndyCar Series. And Ryan, what's your feelings going into your home race first start in the IndyCars?
I'm ready. I feel good. During the last practice, we had really good, strong race running. So I'll just keep it clean the first lap. It's going to be hectic. Obviously, a huge field going into turn 4 there. So, yeah, we'll just keep it clean. Confident that the car is going to be there, and we'll just be there at the end.
We'll go over to Joel Sebastianelli.
Pato O'Ward and Jimmy Johnson catching up at the back of the grid. Jimmy, let's talk to you first here. We understand that Scott Pruitt has been working with you here for the last couple of weeks. What have you guys been learning back and forth with each other?
So much. Scott has such a wealth of knowledge. He's one of a few drivers that has been in an IndyCar and a NASCAR vehicle for any length of time. So his perspective, his leadership, and then through the years of IMSA racing, he spent a lot of time working with strategies. So he comes on under the banner of strategist for the team and enjoys that part and can add that to the equation as well.
Look forward to watching you today. Look forward to watching Pato O'Ward as well. He'll start 20th. He's with Alex Wolf.
Pato, I know yesterday a frustrating qualifying session, but today a new day. What's the outlook for the race for you in McLaren?
We're going to pass some cars, man. This car deserves to be at the front, and sadly, we're making our lives just a little bit harder starting at the back. But I'm confident that these guys are going to give me great pit stops. This Harrow McLaren SP number 5 crew has been honestly very impressive all year. So I think we can keep that up, and we'll see what we got. But I think we can make some good passes and make our way towards the front. We did it last year, so I don't see why we can't do it this year.
He did it from 16th to take the win. Race 2 in Detroit. Pato O'Ward looks to do it from 20th today. Back over to Joe.
Max Chilton coming off a great performance at Road America. Led a few laps. I know you said that there wasn't a whole lot of qualifying pace in that car, but you were confident about race trim. Do you feel that way today as well?
Yeah, it's great to be back at a track I love. I was just working it out on the on that parade. One of the drivers that was driving around said how many times he raced it. Actually, it's my 7th year here, but Indy Lights did a double-header last year. The IndyCar Series was a double-header, so I think this is actually going to be my 10th race. So I've got the experience around here. It's a track that I love. It's a difficult one. It's going to be a fuel strategy race. Some people might try on a 3-stopper, but I believe in the team to get the strategy right. And it's a long race. We'll keep trying all the way to the end, because with IndyCar it's never over till that checkered flag.
All right, thank you, Max. Another guy who's going to need to get the strategy right, starting 15th, is Simon Pagenaud.
Simon Pagenaud saying hello to well-wishers on the pit lane, shaking hands. If we can just get a second with you on IndyCar Radio, is Simon rolling off from the 15th starting position as he says hello to Jimmy Johnson, a handshake. And Simon, that penalty yesterday in qualifying, but Kyle Moyer told us during qualifying as well, an extra set of reds. What can you do maybe strategy-wise to get towards the front?
Yeah, unfortunate circumstance yesterday for us with that yellow in the last corner. We had a fast car, so we transferred but got disqualified, and now the advantage is we got those new tires for the entire race. So, Mid-Ohio is a track that degrades the tires, so it should give us a good chance.
Best of luck today, Simon.
Thank you.
Back over to Joel.
Felix Rosenqvist starts 13th. Wherever you start, wherever you finish, it is so good to see you back. What has it meant to you over the last couple of weeks to see the support from the fans?
It's been great. I mean, everyone in the whole, IndyCar family, in the paddock and outside, fans and everything has been really supportive. Obviously, it's been tough to be away for 2 races. The timing of that was pretty bad, I guess. So, but it can always be worse. You can always look at it at 2 sides, and I'm pretty happy to not have any broken bones or anything. Just pain, which I've gone through. But it's had a weekend off. I've tried to just kind of enjoy it and not think too much about racing. And here we are. Everything feels normal, and hope to have a good race today.
That's what we like to hear. Thank you, Felix.
Thanks, man.
Alex is with our points leader.
The points leader, the most recent winner, Alex Palou. And Alex just missing the Fast 6 yesterday in qualifying. What do you think as you head to what you've said is one of your really favorite tracks?
Yeah, it is. It's one of my favorite tracks. To be honest, it's always enjoyable when you drive Indy cars around here. But yesterday we missed out Fast 6 for just a little bit. It was a shame, but it was my teammates that bummed me out. So it was kind of bad, but good for the team at the same point. So we just gotta work a bit more for qualifying. I know that on the race we always have really good cars, and then we're able to get some good strategies and pit stops. So I'm sure it's going to be a good race today. We just gotta overtake 6 cars and get that win.
Definitely will be chasing that win. It'll be his 3rd of the season. Alex Palou in the NTT data number 10 rolls off on the inside of row 4.
Yeah, good stuff, guys. Thanks very much. Those are many of the field of 26 that will roll off with Josef Newgarden and Colton Herta on the front row. Going to be a big battle for the Manufacturers' Championship throughout the course of the season. Michael Young has the Honda perspective now.
It's time for our HPD engineering update, and we're with Kelvin Fu, who is the program director for Honda. Welcome to Mid-Ohio, your home race, the Honda Indy 200, a big weekend for you in this program.
It's great to be back. Well, it's good to see all the fans back, and it's really special for us as a home race, especially because it's being sponsored by the HPD Honda Ridgeline too. So we're excited to be back here. We've had a great race last year, taking the Sunday race with Colton. In addition, we've had a great season so far. We've won 6 out of 9, including the win at Road America last year. We're really hoping to keep that going. I know the teams are strong. Colton had a great qualifying and just barely missed out on the pole.
Best of luck today. Looking forward to another Honda success here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course.
Thank you very much.
That's Kelvin Fu. He's the program director for Honda, and that is your HPD engineering update.
Welcome back. Joel Sebastianelli is caught up with our pole sitter for the 3rd consecutive race, Josef Newgarden.
For the 3rd consecutive race and 14th time in his career, Josef Newgarden on the 50th anniversary weekend of Penske's first win. What would it mean to you to get it done for the first time this season?
Oh, it'd be great, to finally seal one off. We've been close this year. We've had great cars. Crew's doing everything they need to do. I mean, I'm so pleased with my team, as always. They're just rock solid. We just need one of these days to convert. So hopefully that's today. We'll get Expel and Victory Lane with Team Chevy and If we do that, we're all going to be pretty happy about it.
The gap has gone from about 0.3 to 3 thousandths. What do you think it is on rate?
I think we've had a good gap all week, and I think it's tightened up. I think it's going to be hard to pull out a big gap today, but we're going to keep working on staying in front.
Okay, thank you. Best of luck.
Good stuff, Joseph Newgarden, your pole sitter. Great to get his thoughts and impressions. And Davey, as we've documented over the course of the weekend, he's led 99 of the last 125 laps and has yet to get to victory lane.
Yeah, I think the stat that we have for this weekend is the last 6 races, the person that's led the most laps in the last 6 races has not been in victory lane, has not won the race, Mark. So is that going to happen today? Is it not good to be the guy leading the most laps because they haven't been in victory lane for six events, but that could change today?
It has been shortened from 90 laps down to 70, so how does that affect the fuel strategy for today, Davey?
Well, it makes it actually a really easy 2-stop race, but you still can throw strategy in there by trying a 3-stopper, and that's what some of the guys in the back may do if a yellow comes out, Mark. You know, yellows are very key on when they come out and if your strategy works or it doesn't work. So it's going to be interesting to see. We got Pato Ward, we got some Simon Pagenaud, Grosjean, we got some fast guys in the back of this field that we know that can get coming forward, and then we got some guys that are in the front that haven't ran so good that want that first win as well. So it's going to be a great day.
Davey, on a personal note, I know you want to send your thoughts and prayers out to Todd Bradley of HP, a longtime associate and a sponsor of yours. Some tragedy for that family recently.
Yeah, unfortunately, Todd, without Todd Bradley and his support behind me, I would have never been able to come back to IndyCar racing. So Todd and I become, really best of friends, and including his family, Megan Ford, his sister, Dan Ford, her husband, going through a lot of pain. Megan actually lost her life just this last week, due to cancer. So our prayers, our thoughts, they're all like family. Brings a tear to my eye. I could hardly talk about it right now, but thinking about them, and cancer's a tough thing. It needs to be fixed.
Well, again, a capacity crowd has filed in here to the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, and a lot of activities at the campground throughout the course of the weekend, and we are just about ready to go trackside for pre-race festivities with Joseph Newgarden and Colton Herta on the front row. Again, 2-stop strategy by some may gamble with a 3-stop strategy, but the problem is at Mid-Ohio, the runoff areas are very, very forgiving, and you never know, can't guarantee that caution's ever going to come out. Be interesting to watch it all unfold. Let's go trackside.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we ask that you please rise and remove your hats as the Mansfield Police Department presents our nation's colors. Please remain standing. Chuck Lessick of IndyCar Ministry offers today's invocation.
Let's pray. Lord God, we just thank you for the blessing of today, the 4th of July here at Mid-Ohio. Today, more than any day, we celebrate our freedom, and we remember those who gave their lives for our freedom. Freedom does not come without sacrifice. We ask that this race be a blessing to this entire community as we look to you for a safe yet exciting afternoon. It's in Jesus' name we pray, who gave the ultimate sacrifice for our freedom. Amen.
America with a singing. Please, Mid-Ohio's own.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there.
P6s from the 4th Flying Training Squadron, Columbus Air Force Base, today's flyover. Now, let's meet the starting lineup for the Honda Indy 200 at Mid-Ohio.
Row 13.
Ryan Norman, United States.
Jimmy Johnson, United States.
Row 12.
Connor Daly, United States.
Jack Harvey, Lincoln, England.
Row 11.
Santino Ferrucci, United States.
Dalton Kellett, Canada.
Row 10.
Patricio Award, Monterrey, Mexico.
Takuma Sato, Japan.
Row 9.
Romain Grosjean, France.
Max Chilton, England.
Row 8.
Ed Jones, Dubai.
Simon Pagenaud, France.
Row 7.
Scott McLaughlin, New Zealand.
Felix Rosenqvist, Sweden.
Row 6.
Sébastien Bourdet, Le Mans, France.
Rinus VK, the Netherlands.
Row 5.
Ryan Hunter-Reay, United States.
James Hinchcliffe, Canada.
Row 4.
Graham Rahal, United States of America.
Alex Palou, Spain.
Row 3.
Alexander Rossi, United States.
Scott Dixon, New Zealand.
Row 2.
Will Power, Australia.
Marcus Ericsson, Sweden.
On the outside of row 1.
Colton Herta, United States of America.
And starting on the pole.
Joseph Newgarden, United States.
A little over 2.25 mile in length, this beautiful 13-turn course, and we've got some good ones help to set the stage and create that theater of the mind, if you will, and take you around the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course throughout 80 laps today. The iconic Keyhole is where Jake Query has called home for a number of years now, and Jake, I'm guessing you see some familiar faces up at the Keyhole today.
Familiar faces that offer the same familiar beverages and sandwiches each and every year. Always hospitable are the folks in the Keyhole in the south end of this great facility, Mark. And for the last hour and a half or so, over the course of the lights race and leading up to this race, I have watched a nonstop stream of cars that have come in. But they have now started to find their way here onto the Keyhole and throughout this facility. It is turn number 2, technically speaking, a long sweeping right-handed turn. The very bottom of it does have a bit of an elevation change, and if you go into it with a little too much speed, you're going to have at the apex of that turn to get on your brakes, because that rear end can step out on you just a little bit. You want to avoid, of course, the sand that works its way on the far outside of the Keyhole area. Then you straighten it out, and there's a slight kink as you exit the Keyhole. You can find good speed on that main straightaway, and then you come into the view of Michael Young.
Well, good afternoon, Jake Query, and good afternoon, race fans. A beautiful day here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Fans have draped the hillside. Drivers right entering turn number 4. They will start the race, actually the midway point of this back straightaway, and then score the rest of the race from the official start-finish line. They will come into my view and then make a right-hander. It's a 110-degree right-hander. This will be probably the best time for anybody to overtake here in this turn. Inside, outside, we see several passing opportunities thus far this race weekend. The field will then climb the hill into what Jim Truman used to call madness. It's a left-hander. They'll go up about 20 feet or so and then crest the hill. It's an opportunity to overtake there as well and get alongside drivers, as it's easy to lose grip with aero wash. They'll then go back down the hill at the exit of turn number 5 and then go about 200 yards or so and enter turn number 6. That's a 90-degree right-hander. They'll climb back uphill. This is the portion of the track we like to call the S's, but a beautiful day. Looking forward to the start of this race, and so great to see all these race fans back with us. After they exit turn number 7, they'll come into the view of our own Nick Yeoman.
Thank you, Michael. Maybe not a lot of places to pass on the back half of a lap here at Mid-Ohio, but plenty of places where the racetrack can reach out and bite you. When they leave turn 7 and out of your view, it's a pair of right-handers. Turn 8 and turn 9. After they crest turn 9, it's downhill into Thunder Valley, where they will carry a lot of speed through that short little straightaway. Drivers will be pushed into those cockpits before they crest the hill for what is a blind right-hander of turn 10 and a left-hander of turn 11. Mark, at that point, they come into the carousel, where we see the entrance to pit lane and back into the view of you and Davey Hamilton.
And the command to start engines when we come back. Welcome back, Mid-Ohio. Just about a minute away from the command to start engine. So, Davey, my question would be, Joseph Newgarden, Colton Herta, how nice do they play going into turn number 4? Or does someone like Ericsson, Power, or Dixon insert themselves into that process?
Yeah, I think that they're going to behave. I mean, they're smart guys. They know they have to be around at the end of the race, not make a mistake at the first. I foresee Newgarden taking the lead, Herta following in. But you never know Power. He's hungry as well for a win. And if there's a hole there he can take advantage of, watch out for him to come through.
Yeah, and it'd be interesting to watch some of the championship contenders starting deep in the field, guys like Rinus VeeKay and others, Davey, how patient we think they might be, especially Pato O'Ward, who's currently in 20th.
Well, I think Pato is going to be one to really watch. We know that he's going to fight to the front, and he needs to keep the mistakes down. We've seen him make some mistakes, and he's got to keep them away today because he's going to be flying to the front of this field along with, as you just said, I think VeeKay had a better car than that 11th position he's starting in.
As we mentioned, Scott Dixon is the winningest IndyCar Series driver at Mid-Ohio with 6 victories, so it only makes sense that Chip Ganassi Racing has won 11 times at Mid-Ohio, including 8 of the last 15 races. Alex Zanardi, Juan Pablo Montoya, Dario Franchitti among those who have won here. Let's go trackside.
It's time for the most famous words in all of sports. Representing service members today on the 4th of July, please welcome your Grand Marshal, American Legion past National Commander, Daniel Dellinger. Drivers, start your cars.
And as the engines roar to life, we're going to give you an idea of what it's like to take a lap around the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Doing those honors for us today is Simon Pagenaud.
First corner is really turn 11. You got to get the tires really warmed up for the very fast left-hander. Blinded, very difficult to see. And then you dive into turn 12, which is off camber on the entry, very loose entry. But you got to really go around, carve around the curb. Bump on the exit often upsets the traction. Then you go up to 5th gear for turn 1. Sometimes you hold 5th, sometimes you go to 4th. Tiny little brake and back on full throttle. And then you ride on the right rear all the way out to the curb. Turn 2 is up to 6th gear down to 1st. And now they've got a new concrete patch, which is quite grippy. So you try to aim for it, brake as deep as you can, getting loose over the crests. Really fun corner. And then down the back stretch, up to 6th gear again. And then you try to brake as deep as you can into turn 4, which is downhill. Quite a bit of camber into it, so you can really dive on the inside of the corner really fast in 2nd gear. And then 1st gear for turn 5. Interesting corner, big elevation. You don't know where you're going to land when you enter the corner. You've got to be very patient. Turn 6 is very light brake, and then you try to carry as much speed as you can through 1st gear. And then comes the S is next. The S is very interesting because it's quite fast. 3rd, 4th gear, compression over the crest. The car is dancing all over the place, quite fun. You brake for turn 9, very loose on entry of 9, and then over the crest it's difficult to put the power down. It's a lap of Mid-Ohio. You don't have much time to breathe.
We pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the IndyCar Radio Network. Let's head back to pit road, find out what our pit reporters will be following throughout the course of this day. We'll start with Alex Wolff.
I'll be following the many happy returns. Felix Rosenqvist back starting 13th after 2 races away. Rinus VeeKay frustrated after qualifying 11th yesterday after missing Road America. And Graham Rahal lining up 8th on the 39th anniversary of his father Bobby's first IndyCar win at Burt Lakefront Airport in Cleveland. Let's head further up pit lane to Joel Sebastianelli.
Recent history repeating itself. 3 weeks in a row, Joseph Newgarden has started on pole with Colton Herta on the outside of row 1. They are also in the first 2 pit stalls. History shows the front row is almost a lock to win here. 5 of the last 6 races. In the 3rd pit stall, a little history repeating itself too. Jack Harvey looking for his first win. This team, at least the 60 anyway, can't buy a break. He will start 23rd after a mishap in qualifying. 3 different teams, 3 vastly different storylines, all looking for a win here at Mid-Ohio, Mark.
Well, Davey, it's go time for sure. I mean, the field's starting to come in formation now on that short front straightaway, and it's going to be interesting to watch turn number 4 unfold.
Yeah, so as we know that the start line is in the back straightaway, actually in turn 3. So right now it is lining up down the short straightaway, as you say, and they're going to be heading down to that turn 2 to Jake.
Yep, Jake Query, they come to your way, headed up the hill toward the keyhole.
Mark, they have seen their salute the last time by, but once again, the fans in the keyhole standing, waving their caps, and excited under the sun here in Ohio to watch this race unfold. Up front, it is Joseph Newgarden with Colton Herta just alongside him. Then Marcus Ericsson and Will Power, followed by Scott Dixon and Alexander Rossi. The rows of two start to form themselves out of the keyhole. Michael Young, we're about to go racing here in the Buckeye State.
Honda Indy 200 is underway, and Joseph Newgarden has popped to the lead. He will lead the field of 26 down into turn number 4. Scott Dixon, one of the drivers on the move, as they almost go 3 wide. Will Power alongside of Marcus Ericsson. Will Power, we have a huge crash. The midway point of turn number 4. We see the machine of Marcus Ericsson. No, check that. That is Felix Rosenqvist, Ryan Hunter-Reay. The rest of the field got away, but Rosenqvist sits at the exit of turn number 4. Ryan Hunter-Reay able to get himself back underway. The field already through Thunder Valley.
We stay green for now, although it is Felix Rosenqvist's car parked right in the middle of the racetrack. And just as I say that, Mark Janes, we will go full course yellow here on the opening lap at Mid-Ohio.
A rough return, Davey Hamilton, to the NTT IndyCar Series for Felix Rosenqvist.
Yeah, that's too bad. Just I didn't get to see the replay yet. I know they all bunched up there. Rosenqvist looked like he had the car started. Now, if all lucky, they can get him turned around, fired back up before he goes a lap down.
So for the folks at Mid-Ohio, it's great to see thousands of fans here for the second consecutive weekend. Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course has been able to host racing events, and we caught up with their president, Craig Rust, who says, yes, indeed, it seems to be a return to normalcy here at Mid-Ohio.
We had an event last weekend, too, so we're kind of on back-to-back weekends. These are the first 2 events that, to use the worn-out phrase, that things feel like they're back to normal. So that's good. We're not requiring masks. We're not doing the temperature checks. Again, the paddock's open, so it's great to see the families out here. I'm looking behind you, and there's kids back out at the racetrack, which is great to see, to help grow the sport and introduce them to the IndyCar Series. So it's good to kind of be back to operating normally.
In fact, a 3-car incident leads to a caution on the opening lap. Davey, you saw the replay.
Yeah, what happened, it looked like cars just got bunched up, just the accordion effect. And Ryan Hunter-Reay had to slow down so he didn't run into the back of Graham Rahal. Unfortunately, his teammate, Hinchcliffe, could not get slowed down, runs into the back of Hunter-Reay, turns him around, turns himself around, and then Rosenqvist had nowhere to go at all and spun around and actually looks like maybe clipped that right rear a little bit. Looks like also where Hunter-Reay got hit, maybe a little damage in that right rear as well. Yeah, definitely a toe link bent. They're in the pits trying to fix it right now.
Let's go to pit road, get an update from Joe Sebastianelli.
Ryan Hunter-Reay is in. They've turned the car off, although it doesn't sound as though they think it's terminal. The end fencing was broke on the front wing, so they're going to change that. And they're taking a hard look at the right rear. Ryan speculated that there was damage to the toe link, but they're going to keep a close eye on it and get to work. Certainly not what the 28 team needed. They had so much optimism after practice, and it's just going downhill from here.
Quick update from Alex Wolf.
Right rear toe link change for Felix Rosenqvist. Engine was shut off. It's back on, and he's back going as we're back underway.
Yep, green flag flies off of the carousel. They go single file. Joseph Newgarden gets to turn 1 first with Colton Herta, Ericsson, Power, and Dixon in tow.
2 really started to separate themselves. Newgarden now has Herta trying to stalk in. Meanwhile, Will Power worked his way around Scott Dixon, put him in the 4th position. They were nearly side by side, but Power went wide, and Dixon got the position right back. Joseph Newgarden, the leader, into turn number 4.
Newgarden with about a 2-car length advantage over the machine of Colton Herta. The field now, we got 2 wide battling further back. This is for the 4th position. Will Power inside of Scott Dixon, and Will Power will make the pass. Scott Dixon tries the over-under and sweeps around the outside, and Will Power goes off track. He'll spin around, try to do a 360. A cloud of smoke as Will Power is on the throttle. He'll hit Ed Jones, and Will Power sits in the center of the track. The rest of the field makes their way through, and we are once again under caution here at Mid-Ohio.
Davey, full course caution. Will Power in a spirited battle with Scott Dixon, and Ed Jones simply had nowhere to go.
Yeah, how unfortunate was that? Nobody did anything wrong with that race. race. That was a great race between Will and Scott. They didn't touch each other, but when Will went over the crest of that hill, back end just stepped around, got loose, put him right in the middle of the racetrack, and a big hard hit where Jones came around, couldn't see because all the smoke, and big hit for both those guys. Power's car looks like there's a potential that he could continue on.
Disjointed start to this one, most assuredly. Davey, one more look at the replay. Call it as you see it.
Yeah, so Dixon crossed over. They did have contact. It looks like Dixon tried to come down, left Will pretty much no room. He was on the bottom of the track already, and just it turned around. It's a racing deal. You can't really blame anybody on that one. That was a really good race up through 4 and 5. Unfortunately, they did touch, and it turned Will around, and Jones had nowhere to go.
Well, and I think the most unsettling thing from Will Power's perspective, Davey, is when he locked it up, there was so much tire smoke off of that car, and they're battling for the 4th or 5th position. You know, the rest of the field is coming at them, and, you know, there aren't a lot of spotters on road courses for sure, and a lot of those guys simply were driving through there and hoping for the best.
Oh, and we still see Will Power getting out of his car, but you're exactly right. Yeah, Dixon came down just a little bit, didn't give very much room to Power, and they touched and turned him around, and you're right. You try to get on the gas, Mark, and try to do a 360, really, and continue going. He almost had that 360 in hand, but not quite enough, and stopped in the middle of the racetrack, and like I say, got hit by Jones.
Well, last year IndyCar made a pledge to support diversity and inclusivity throughout the paddock at each of the events. To get an update on some of those initiatives, let's check in with Katie Kyle, who's with a member of the IndyCar community who's on track with diversity.
Lisa Boggs has been involved in motorsports for more than 20 years, and now as the director of motorsports for Bridgestone Americas, she's seen an evolution of both the sport and diversity. Lisa, the early 90s landscape of motorsports, diversity-wise, looked much different than it does now. What did it look like back then?
You know, there were quite a few women in the paddock. But what they were doing and what they're doing now, I should say we were doing then and we are doing now, has really changed and really evolved to where you see that participation and the depth and breadth beyond what was the more traditional, really mostly PR and to some degree hospitality roles, to now there's engineering, over the wall. You know, when it comes to looking at Bridgestone and Firestone racing, the director of motorsports and the chief engineer are both women. And that was definitely not the case back in the 90s.
Firestone is involved in so many aspects of motorsports, especially within the IndyCar family. How have you felt like you've been an advocate for change and diversity and seeing diverse people in new roles?
It's funny because when I first took this job, part of me was like, what does that have to do with anything? And then I quickly realized, you know, it's not a bad thing. And if anything, it's an opportunity to talk about diversity and change and looking at people you might not have traditionally looked at for a role and now considering them.
I'm Katie Kyle. That's On Track with Diversity for the NTT IndyCar Series.
Thanks, Katie. You can hear more of that interview on our website. Go to IndyCar.com/radio and click on podcast. Caution on the course with Joseph Newgarden leading here at Mid-Ohio. IndyCar Radio would like to thank these stations all across this great land of ours on this 4th of July weekend for carrying today's race. WDNG in Anniston, Alabama, WCSI in Columbus, Indiana, and WLVA in Lynchburg, Virginia. Happy to have all of you listening on the various platforms, including Sirius XM 205. Mark James, Davey Hamilton. Davey, we've completed 6 laps. Bad news is 5 of those have been under caution.
Yeah, this is definitely not what we wanted to see. We talked about, you know, Will Power at the start of the show that I felt like if there's a hole, he's going to go for it. There really was a hole. He didn't do anything wrong. The hole kind of got closed. They barely touched, turned around. Unfortunately, put him out of this race. Also with Jones, nowhere to go, took him out of this race. Looks like guys that didn't need bad luck. Hunter-Reay, Rosenqvist definitely needed a little luck on their side. Jones, Power, they've all needed a little bit of luck, and all 4 of them are laps down now.
Joseph Newgarden, Colton Herta, Marcus Ericsson, Scott Dixon, Alexander Rossi, the top 5. Palou is 6th. Rahal the 7th. VK is 8th. Bourdais is 9th. Scott McLaughlin is 10th. Romain Grosjean 11th. 12th, Pagenaud, Award, Sato 14th, 15th, Ferrucci, 16th, Kellett, 17th, Harvey, 18th, Daly, Hinchcliffe, 19th. Then Chilton, Norman, Jimmy Johnson through 22nd, Rosenquist 23rd, Hunter Ray is 24th. He is 2 laps down because of that opening lap incident. And, of course, day is done for Ed Jones, 25th. Will Power 26th as Ryan Hunter-Ray brings his car back onto pit road. Romain Grosjean +7. Pato O'Ward +7. Santino Ferrucci +7. Jack Harvey +6. Connor Daly +6. So, Davey, I know attrition has aided their cause, but certainly some drivers we expected to move up early have done so.
Yeah, you know, we expected the first 2 guys, right? Obviously, Newgarden and Herta to stay where they are. But Pato O'Ward started in that 20th position. He went around. He had the lucky line. If the drivers in front of him didn't have those issues, it probably would have put him back instead of forward. But when they did, he went around all of them, goes from 20th to 13th, absolutely great. Simon Pagenaud, another one, jumping up, finds himself in that 12th position already. Sato has a nice little jump up, Grosjean. So, yeah, it's bad luck for some, made good luck for others.
Impressive reflexes by the drivers of the back half of the field, Davey. Will Power was smack dab in the middle of the racetrack, shrouded in smoke. Couldn't even see the race car, and the drivers just simply went where they saw a clearing, to the high side and the low side of Will Power.
Yeah, it's so hard. Sometimes they say aim for the smoke, and then by the time you get there, it's gone. But that's usually on high-speed ovals. A little bit different here at Mid-Ohio.
Yeah, it's a good thing that they didn't head for the smoke, because as Ed Jones could tell you, the smoke is right where the incident was as the green flag flies as Joseph Newgarden, Colton Herta nose to tail, and Marcus Ericsson keeping pace as they reach the halfway point toward the keyhole.
2 are evenly spaced from then 3 and 4. As a matter of fact, Marcus Ericsson now all of a sudden has all kinds of company from his teammate Scott Dixon, who tried to take a look to the inside. Ericsson at the bottom of the keyhole managed to shut that door. Newgarden a 2-car length advantage over Colton Herta.
Plenty of fireworks on this 4th of July. Let's see if the third time is the charm through turn number 4. Joseph Newgarden a 3-car length advantage. Further back for that 5th position. Alex Palou looks to the inside, now outside of Alexander Rossi. Palou will be able to hold him off as Palou continues that charge. Rossi just in front of the Palou machine. Now looks like Rinus VeeKay is kind of tucked inside. He'll go off course. They'll make their way through turn number 7.
VeeKay kicked up a ton of dirt trying to get around Alex Palou to grab that 6th position. He lost all momentum, but it is Alex Palou, Mark, our pole sitter, trying to run down Alexander Rossi and get inside the top 5.
Yeah, Alex Palou getting awfully aggressive, and Rinus VeeKay and Graham Rahal went out there, right there. But when, as Michael described, Rinus VeeKay went off course, that required Graham Rahal to roll it up a little bit. And Sebastian Bourdais is giving chase in that battle as well. That's the battle for the 7th position. Meanwhile, back up front, it's Joseph Newgarden by 0.8 of a second over Colton Herta.
Newgarden on the red tires. So too is Colton Herta, Marcus Ericsson, Scott Dixon, Alexander Rossi, the highest on the primary black tires. He has Alex Palou just behind him. The leader, Joseph Newgarden, already leaving the keyhole. Romain Grosjean got loose at the bottom of the keyhole. That allowed Scott McLaughlin by. Simon Pagenaud now will try to do the same.
Joseph Newgarden about a 5-car length advantage over Colton Herta, then Ericsson, Dixon, Rossi able to gap himself from Palou, then Rinus VeeKay. Lots of battling further back. Takuma Sato on the charge. He will get around Santino Ferrucci. Now Ferrucci trying to look his way back to the inside, but Takuma Sato won't be able to gap him by about a 0.5 car length. They're already through Thunder Valley.
Yep, front 4 have gotten away. It's Newgarden, Herta, Ericsson, Dixon, and then it's Rossi trying to hold off Alex Palou just outside the top 5.
A little bit further back, that battle for the, at the time, the 9th position. Romain Grosjean, Jake described the end of that battle. He tried to make a move on Sebastian Bourdais, but Bourdais was having none of it. But by the time that Grosjean got back into the throttle, he lost a couple of positions and is in danger now of being under assault from the car of Pato O'Ward. O'Ward looking to move up. Best battle on the racetrack, Alexander Rossi. He's trying to hold off Alex Palou in the keyhole.
As a matter of fact, as they work their way at the bottom of the keyhole, Rossi, it almost is like he's holding people up. That's not the case. It's just Dixon's getting away from him. But Palou is right there looking in on Rossi.
This is the battle for the 5th position. Alexander Rossi has it. Alex Palou wants it. Meanwhile, Rinus VeeKay wants to take that 6th position away from Alex Palou. Palou will get a little bit of an arrow wash. That will allow Rinus VeeKay to close in. So we'll have Alexander Rossi in that 5th position. Then a great battle at 6 with Palou and VeeKay.
Yep, and you can add Graham Rahal to the mix. Make that a 4-car battle for the 5th position. Alexander Rossi with a little bit of breathing room. Then it's Palou, VeeKay, and Rahal through Thunder Valley.
Early on in the race, Davey Hamilton, Rinus VeeKay showing no ill effects from that injury to his clavicle.
No, he knew he had a better car than that 11th qualifying position. He's working his ways in 7th now, all over Palou. And I'll have to say, Grosjean, we may want to introduce him to dirt racing. That was a pretty good slide down there through the keyhole in that turn 2. Kept it sideways, kept it on track, lost some space, but been a good job recovering.
Rinus VeeKay, Graham Rahal. That's the best battle for now. That's the battle for 7th to the keyhole.
And Graham Rahal finds himself just behind VeeKay and again in front of Bourdais. As a matter of fact, Bourdais went a little bit wide at the bottom of the keyhole. That allowed Rahal to again distance, but Rahal's trying to find Rinus VeeKay.
So 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. That's the best battle on the track. Rossi about 6 car lengths ahead of Alex Palou. Rinus VeeKay now closing in on that rear wing of Palou again. Graham Rahal will fall back ever so slightly. Further back in the field, Ferrucci gets back around. Takuma Sato also have a battle. Jack Harvey. Jack Harvey gets all kinds of sideways as he tries to battle Dalton Kellett. Now Jack Harvey regains control of that machine, but a lot of battling as they got kicked up dust through 6 and now 7.
Yep, you mentioned Jack Harvey going off racetrack a little bit. The back of the field, they are stacking up, Mark Janes. Everybody battling for positions.
And race control took a look a couple of times at that issue going up into the keyhole between Romain Grosjean and Sebastien Bourdais. They didn't like, Davey, the way that Bourdais defended that position. He's been ordered to give up 2 spots for blocking.
Oh, wow, interesting. Well, I noticed Grosjean went by him. Now that means McLaughlin needs to get by him as well. But one thing he has to be careful for, McLaughlin is being threatened by Pato O'Ward. Matter of fact, being passed by Pato O'Ward right now. Oh, they touched wheels just so slightly down there in turn 2.
Yeah, right up in the keyhole. That was a pretty good battle for sure. Let's give you a full field rundown with 12 laps complete. It's Joseph Newgarden, your leader. Colton Herta is 2nd. Marcus Ericsson is 3rd. Scott Dixon is 4th. Rossi is 5th. Palou is 6th. VeeKay is 7th. Rahal is 8th. Romain Grosjean is 9th. Sebastien Bourdais is 10th. Pato O'Ward 11th. Scott McLaughlin is 12th. 13th Simon Pagenaud. 14th Santino Ferrucci. 15th Takuma Sato. 16th Dalton Kellett. 17th Daly. 18th Harvey. 19th Hinchcliffe. 20th Chilton. 21st is Norman. 22nd is Jimmy Johnson. A lap down, and 23rd is Felix Rosenqvist. 24th, 2 laps down, is Ryan Hunter-Reay. Out of the race in 25th is Ed Jones, and Will Power will finish 26th today. Davey, with all of those cautions, do we think maybe that the pit strategy might have been altered a little bit? I mean, we had 6 laps of cautions through the first 7 laps of the race.
Yeah, so, pit strategy is really, it was too early, but we did see a few guys. Norman came in and did a pit. Jimmy Johnson, Chilton, and Hinchcliffe all came in. Now, Hinchcliffe went probably more for issues on his race car, but yeah, we just see a handful of guys a little too early to really take advantage of a strategy.
Back deep in the field, we're watching the battle for 17th. Jack Harvey slowly but surely trying to work his way to the front, if possible, get himself in a position to use that pit strategy. Michael Young, pretty good drag race between Jack Harvey and Connor Daly into turn 4.
Yeah, Jack Harvey's on the outside. Now we'll try the over-under on Connor Daly. Daly will hold that inside line. Boy, he popped to the middle of the track and had to defend against Jack Harvey trying to take that position. Nearly ran Harvey off the track. Daly about a 1 car length advantage over Harvey.
Yeah, they are nose to tail. Of course, Harvey driving for Meyer-Shank Racing, an Ohio-based race team, trying to run down Indiana's Connor Daly through Thunder Valley. Connor Daly will hold that spot mark by a couple car lengths. Again, it's a battle mid-pack.
Leaders already heading to the keyhole, and Jake Query, pretty good spacing between the top 3 or 4.
As a matter of fact, Newgarden is working his way now already at the bottom of the keyhole. He has about a 12 car length advantage over Colton Herta. Then put it 8 back to Marcus Ericsson. Ericsson about 10 before you get to Scott Dixon. Front 4, Michael, starting to check out.
Yeah, everybody minding their P's and Q's up front as Joseph Newgarden has been smooth at the first portion of this race. Again, about a 6 car length advantage over Colton Herta. Marcus Ericsson runs in that 3rd position. Then Scott Dixon 4th. Alexander Rossi has been able to gap himself of Alex Palou. Palou is in the 6th position. Rossi 5th.
Yeah, you're right, Michael. That battle that we've been talking about, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th, guys like Rossi, Palou, VeeKay, and Rahal, has seemingly settled itself down a little bit, Mark Janes. Some even spacing throughout the drivers in the top 10.
I think the one that has still not achieved much in the way of a level of comfort is Rinus VeeKay, who's currently running in the 7th position. There's no question for now he doesn't have much for Alex Palou, but as he glides through the carousel, there's no no question he can see Graham Rahal in his mirrors off of that final turn toward that short main straightaway. Graham Rahal gets a nice run off of that carousel, tries to stay right in the tire tracks now as they exit turn number 1. The battle for the 7th position. Rinus VeeKay and Graham Rahal to turn 2.
Plenty of Ohio State gear represented here in the keyhole, and you know who those fans are rooting for. Graham Rahal, who is trying to reel in that Sonax machine. He is only a car length and a half behind him as they exit now through turn number 3.
Rinus VeeKay makes his way down into turn number 4, about a car length advantage over Graham Rahal. Graham is settled in and now will dive into turn number 4 with that 2-car length now disadvantage. I think he's content with where he is for now. Big arrow wash for Graham Rahal as Rinus VeeKay able to set himself up about 3 car lengths. They're now through turn number 7.
Yep, Rahal continues to give chase for that 7th spot, and right behind them may be Davey Hamilton's new sprint car driver, Romain Grosjean, in 9th, and Marquis appears to be closing on VeeKay and Rahal.
The lap number 15 complete. Joseph Newgarden, Herta, Ericsson, Dixon, and Rossi the top 5 as we head to break. Irene Sabri, of course, purchased Mid-Ohio from the Truman family. The same Truman family who combined with Bobby Rahal for his Indy 500 win. So for Bobby Rahal, Mid-Ohio is a very special place.
Oh, it's wonderful. A lot of memories here, from when my father raced here and then when I did, and, now Graham. And, it's I think it's about as close as what you could call a home track as any. Always wonderful coming here. Great crowd. Just a great place to race.
18 laps complete. Joseph Newgarden, your pole sitter, continues to lead the way. Now's your chance to own a piece of history. Download the radio broadcast of the 2021 Indy 500. Go to IMS.com, click on the History tab, and look for historical race broadcasts. Find almost every race, starting with Bob Schweikert's win in 1955 to Elio's record-setting 4th win in 2021. What a memorable one it was. Windows starting to open up for some on pit road. Let's get an update from Joel Sebastianelli.
Jack Harvey, our first taker under green flag conditions, 7.75 seconds. They take him off the blacks and onto reds. 2 turns of front wing. He pitted from 18th position.
Alex Wolf.
Marcus Ericsson has been coached from literally the green flag about the fuel number, talking about the fuel wheel position. They're saying he's hitting a good number right now. Meanwhile, Graham Rahal being told his lap times are consistent. They're right up there with the leaders, discussing whether or not they want a front wing adjustment. They say the front tire temperatures are looking good so far.
Updates from Pit Road brought to you by Speedway, the official fuel and convenience store of IndyCar. And Davey, we've reached that point in the race where I'm sure that we're getting close to that pit window, as we see by Jack Harvey's stop, that these team engineers and the crew chiefs in communication with the driver in terms of what adjustments they can and will make on this first round of stops.
You know what I think happened is when they cut the laps down on this race, Mark, it made it such an easy 2-stop race. I think most guys they feel they need to do that. There were 3 is just too much, unless that yellow fell probably on lap 11 or 12, maybe 13, and it's gone past that, no yellow. So guys the window has somewhat started to open up. And guys like Harvey was being held up. Connor Daly was holding him up and couldn't get by him. He tried everything, but Connor was just fast enough to keep it behind. But he was losing track time, so wise move for him to come in. Now he's got free, clean track, and his lap times are going to improve tremendously.
I'll tell you, race winner who's having a good day, he's had a good weekend, in fact, that people just don't talk about, I think, nearly enough. His progression at Ganassi Racing in the NTT IndyCar Series really has been measured and downright impressive, especially this season. He's held serve in terms of holding on to 3rd place, Davey. Good run underway for Marcus Ericsson.
Yeah, very good run by Marcus, running the same really lap times as the leader. Matter of fact, just a few tenths off that time by, a little bit faster than his teammate who's right behind him. So he has a 3-second lead over his teammate Scott Dixon in that 3rd spot. Cool, calm, collective, and it seems to be hitting his numbers just right, doing what the team's asking him to do, putting himself in position to win.
If we could go back to that issue, revisit it on lap number 3 that took Will Power out of this race in that battle for 5th with Scott Dixon. I mean, Will Power not in championship contention. Scott Dixon is, and how very, very fortunate that for Scott Dixon, that the opposite didn't end up happening because it could have thrown away his championship hopes. Were they a little too aggressive considering how early we were in the race, or is that just a byproduct of the fact it's so hard to pass at this place?
Yeah, I think it's a byproduct of just that. I think it's really difficult to pass. Nothing intentional there on either side, and you have to remember it was probably 2 or 3 inches of a difference. I mean, if Scott would have probably been to the right, driver right 4 or 5 inches, they would not have had contact. They would have made it through there, and on they would have went. So this is a game of inches at 200 miles an hour.
Well, it drops Will Power to 11th in points. He was hanging around on the fringe and was probably going to need a couple of poles, and he was probably going to need a couple of race wins in order to make it happen for him. But again, he's 160 plus points back is Will Power now. Let's hear more from him. Joel Sebastianelli has caught up with him.
Will, thank you for your time. I see you've got your right hand bandaged up. How are you feeling?
Yeah, it's just really sore. I foolishly left my hand on the wheel. I should have taken it off. Smoke, I may have made it worse. So I thought I could have almost looped it and kept going, but it went backwards and got nailed. So, man, just unfortunate. Could have had a really good day.
Do you know what happened?
Yeah, Dixon was on reds, and he was obviously very keen to get by because he probably thought I was going to hold him up. So, I battled with him, and knowing that corner, I actually slowed it up a lot. I mean, he would have got me if he gave me more room as well. He just squeezed me so tight, it just spun me out.
It just feels like looking for the other shoe to drop sometimes. How important is this next few weeks off to recharge?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I should have been aware that, he was going to be really keen to get by and almost giving up the position. But I thought if I could hold it, that would have put us in a really good position to capitalise on those guys in front when their tyres dropped. So just to kind of racing, it's hard to give up, but yeah, it sucks. He squeezed me very tight. I wasn't happy about that. I don't think it was that fair of racing.
I know it's tough to do these, and I know you want to get going. Thank you, Will.
Thank you.
That good stuff, Joel Sebastianelli and Will Power and Nick Yeoman. We are watching that battle between Rinus VeeKay and Graham Rahal. It continues to be a hot one, despite the fact we're in that pit window.
Yeah, we are in that pit window. We've started seeing guys start to pit, but Graham is not letting up on Rinus VeeKay. They make their crest down through turn number 9, and they're separated by a couple car lengths. Again, it's the battle for 7th. Looks like Rinus VeeKay, at least for now, Mark's going to hold on to that spot.
Will Power's teammates, both Simon Pagenaud and Scott McLaughlin, made recent visits to pit road, and that battle is going to break off, in fact, as we see Rinus VeeKay is headed to pit road. And Alex Wolf, you are going to greet the 21 Sonax car on pit road.
The red tires on the car right now, black's going on, no trouble right now, fresh tear off, looking for a front wing adjustment. It doesn't happen. He's 18.5 gallons of Speedway fuel in, and he's down and away.
Yeah, pretty clean stop, and a little further up pit road, we're starting to see even more activity. We're seeing more teams and more drivers laid out. I believe James Hinchcliffe is among those coming to pit road. We saw the signboard out for Sebastian Bourdais. So, Davey, it becomes a timing issue for these teams in terms of when to come in during this window.
Yeah, and the window is so large, what they hope is that nobody's going to hold them up on pit lane. And the meaning that is, if a yellow was to come out, these pits would get absolutely jam-packed, and sometimes a lot of issues happen in the pits. Another thing, you want to come in, if a car in front of you is holding you up, just like Harvey's situation with Connor Daly, and the window's open, you absolutely need to pit because you can make up so much time. You're going to have fresh tires on, and by the time they pit, they should cycle you in front of them. So pretty interesting right now. The pit window's open. It's right now free and clear. Nobody getting jammed up on pit lane.
Well, in terms of Joseph Newgarden, he has a 1.9 second lead over Colton Herta. And Davey, there's no question that you heard Joseph Newgarden say it after the session on Friday. He said from the time that thing rolled out onto pit road and he climbed in it and fired it up, it's been a fast race car.
It's been bad fast, and he's loved it, yeah.
Sebastian Bourdais on pit road, Joel.
Sebastian Bourdais pitting from 10th. Thought he had a pole run thwarted. He's picked up 2 positions out and away on reds.
Yeah, in that round of 12, he had hoped to move on to the round of 6, but he was called for a pit road speed violation, which means he had to serve a drive-through. And, of course, earlier, Davey, he was looking to pick up a couple of positions, get into the top 10, and he had to serve a penalty. So it's been a challenging weekend but with the relationship of Sebastian Bourdais with race control.
Yeah, well, that's not something abnormal either. It seems like Sebastian, he's a guy that he stretches it right to the edge as far as what a rule would be, and it actually cost him a little bit. We've seen some of the drivers mad at him in qualifying when he just actually blew by them all. There's kind of a driver agreement in qualifying to kind of hold up behind each other until you get up to speed, but he didn't take that either and went right for it.
Jack Harvey, Jimmy Johnson. That got interesting, Nick Yeoman, as they headed toward turn number 4. They head toward Thunder Valley. How did Jack Harvey do into turn number 4?
Yeah, he made the pass on Jimmy Johnson. Jack Harvey is one of those drivers that has pitted already. Jimmy Johnson out there struggling right now. He has fallen back to the 21st position, but just moments ago, Scott McLaughlin got around him. Simon Pagenaud did, as did Jack Harvey.
And I think the comments earlier this week from Jimmy Johnson indicates that, Davey, he's getting past the point to where he's saying, I'm learning, I'm having fun. He wants to see results, but those results have been slow, they've been steady, but I think his lap times for sure have been improving at a pretty decent pace.
Yeah, and we talked about that a little bit in practice sessions, Mark, to where some of these rookies coming in here, guys, but they came out of open wheel, open cockpit type race cars, they can catch on fairly easily. Jimmy's a 7-time NASCAR champion. We know he's a fantastic race driver, has done a lot in his career, but he needs to forget everything that he ever knew about racing and to start over again here, and that's hard for somebody to do because these cars are so different than NASCAR. They're way faster. They brake way better. They handle way better. I mean, there's just so many different things, and just getting used to the speed alone is enough, but Jimmy has an uphill battle, but you're right. His times are getting better. He's getting closer to the field, still in the back, but still he's working hard and he's having fun.
We see Romain Grosjean coming to pit road. He had worked his way into the 9th position. Meanwhile, Sebastian Bourdais, McLaughlin, and Pagenaud. Those are the guys that have already pitted. They stopped around lap 24, and that's a battle a little bit deeper in the field that appears to be gaining some steam, trying to keep pace with them as the car of Santino Ferrucci. He, too, has already pitted. But Jake Query, let's pick it up. It's the battle for 16th. It's Bourdais, McLaughlin, and Pagenaud.
I'll tell you what, if you look at that group, Pagenaud is at the rear of it, and McLaughlin has really right in front of him been going after Bourdais the last few times by. Michael, I thought McLaughlin was going to get Bourdais last time by at the bottom of the keyhole, but Bourdais gets breathing room through 3.
Yeah, Bourdais got about a 5-car length advantage as further up, Rinus VeeKay gets around Ryan Hunter-Reay. So it's Bourdais, McLaughlin, Simon Pagenaud, then the machine of Santino Ferrucci. The big loser, and we talked about it briefly, was Jack Harvey. Got so held up by Jimmy Johnson. The three of them, talking about Pagenaud, McLaughlin, and Harvey, were nose to tail. That whole lap that it took Harvey to get around Jimmy Johnson really cost him a lot of positions and a lot of time on the track.
All these drivers on fresh tires trying to make up ground while everyone struggles here at the end of a stint. It's Bourdais leading that train, Mark Janes, towards the back of the pack, running in 16th.
Top 10, Newgarden, Herta, Erickson, Dixon, Rossi, and Palou. Rahal, Award, Sato, and Daly all have to stop, including 11th place Dalton Kellett as well. Lap 27 complete here at Mid-Ohio. Pit stops among the front runners underway. Let's check it with Joel Sebastianelli.
Alexander Rossi comes in. He was the highest qualifying starter on blacks. He'll go to reds from 5th position, making up 1 spot. Pato O'Ward has made up 12 positions from 20th to 8th. He'll go out on reds as well.
See the Wolfpack going to work. Scott Dixon's crew get him on and off pit road in really good shape. This report from pit road is brought to you by Speedway, the official fuel and convenience store of IndyCar. And boy, Davey, when you pit under green flag conditions, it's always a roll of the dice. The fingers are collectively crossed that a caution flag doesn't come out.
Yeah, absolutely. And right now for these leaders, the ones that have not pitted yet, if the yellow was to come out and the guys had just pitted, what an advantage, because that's meaning here comes the leader right now. I think it's a wise call. I was a little risky staying out as long as he did, although Herta did not follow him in.
XPEL sponsorship on the car, and Joel Sebastianelli, he woes it up to 60 miles an hour, and Joseph Newgarden has led 29 laps on the day.
And he hasn't had much to say, so I think that's a good thing. Red tires off, blacks on. The leader is out and away. No issues.
To the other end of pit road, and Alex Wolf.
Marcus Ericsson goes off of a set of reds onto blacks. 2 turns of front wing, down and away with no trouble for Lusky Chocolate Honda.
Alex Palou and Graham Rahal. We see both of them come to pit road for service, and not much in the way of changes for them as Alex Palou starts to come off of pit road, and that is Scott Dixon, I believe, Jake Query, that was at speed and was able to work his way around Alex Palou. What do they look like in the keyhole?
That's exactly right. It was Dixon that got through Palou. Now, Rossi is right behind and on reds. Palou, though, manages to hold him off, but we will see now as they get straight line speed. Alexander Rossi, Michael, is trying to get past Alex Palou.
Yeah, Alexander Rossi really on the charge. This is the battle for sixth position. Alexander Rossi will look to the inside, think better of it. Alex Palou will take the left sides and turn number 5 right down on the white line. Oh, and Alexander Rossi will pop to the outside. That will give him the advantage on the inside at turn number 6. What a pass, guys, by Alexander Rossi.
Pit road and Joe Sebastianelli.
Colton Herta makes his first pit stop. He's off of the reds. Oh, they're holding him for fuel. This is a rather long stop. They're having an issue with the fuel. I don't think they're able to get it in. The time's slipping away, and I don't think the fuel is slipping into the car. They're holding him and holding him and holding him, saying on the radio, what's going on? Come on, come on, come on. Now the fuel goes, and away goes Colton Herta. That is a brutal stop.
A disastrous stop for Colton Herta, as it looks like Alex Palou among those who's able to work their way around Colton Herta, and Graham Rahal is in hot pursuit heading up toward the keyhole.
Graham Rahal took a long, hard look at making that move, entering the keyhole. Now at the bottom of the keyhole, he's going to go to the inside. They are side by side. Herta managed to get the position back, but they're side by side again as they work their way into turn number 3.
Colton Herta up against it with cold tires. Graham Rahal's on the inside. Colton Herta's on the outside. Graham Rahal will get that position entering turn number 4. Colton Herta again trying to climb that hill and battle back. He'll be about a car length behind Graham Rahal. Graham streaks away through turn number 6. Call it 2 car lengths ahead of Colton Herta.
Rahal will pull away underneath the Honda bridge, kicking Colton Herta back to the 7th position on those cold tires. Mark, it looks like we've cycled all the way through, so the loss for Herta is going to be -5.
And it goes back up to Joseph Newgarden, your leader, after his pit stop on lap 30. Speaking of pit stops, let's get an update from Alex Wolff.
Takuma Sato had cycled up to the 3rd position. He came in for Rahal Letterman Lanigan Racing and went from blacks to reds. Couple of turns of front wing, and the number 30 was down and away.
And Davey Hamilton, disastrous stop for Colton Herta, and that's an unforeseen set of circumstances when you have issues with that fuel buckeye.
Yeah, you know what? I feel bad. Colton's had fuel issue problems. I mean, I know of 3 major ones with fuel issues in his career, and that was probably the worst one. Something happened with the fueling nozzle. It wasn't venting or something. The fuel just the valve wasn't open. Who knows what happened? But man, what a costly stop, putting him from 2nd to 7th. Now, it doesn't seem like a lot of position on a racetrack, but he was 2 seconds behind Newgarden when that happened. He's now 20 seconds behind.
Herta, Award, Grosjean, Nick Yeoman. That's a good battle in the Thunder Valley, and it's already changed.
It was a good pass by Romain Grosjean. Got to the inside of Pato Award and grabbed that 8th spot away from Pato. Now he's got his sights set on Colton Herta through Thunder Valley. The driver of that purple car, Romain Grosjean, on the move, Mark, trying to chase down Colton Herta after his pit mistake.
Let's give you a recap now, a reset if you will. 33 laps complete. Joseph Newgarden has opened up an 8-second lead now. Marcus Ericsson is 2nd. Scott Dixon is 3rd. Rossi is 4th. Palou is 5th. Graham Rahal is 6th. Colton Herta is 7th. Romain Grosjean is 8th. Pato Award is 9th, and Rinus VeeKay is 10th. Sebastian Bourdais is 11th. Scott McLaughlin is 12th. Santino Ferrucci up to 13th. Pagano is 14th. Sato is 15th. Jack Harvey is 16th. Connor Daly is 17th. Hinchcliffe is 18th. Chilton 19th. Dalton Kellett 20th. Ryan Norman is 21st and on the lead lap. A lap down in 22nd, Jimmy Johnson. Felix Rosenquist a lap down in 23rd. 2 laps down in 24th is Ryan Hunter-Reay. Ed Jones in 25th out of the race. Will Power in 26th. He is out of the race. Pato Award is +11. Romain Grosjean is +10. Santino Ferrucci is +9. Jack Harvey is +7. And Connor Daly is +7. Just 2 leaders, 2 lead changes. That's Newgarden, who's led 32 laps now. Colton Herta led 2 laps when Joseph Newgarden went to pit road. There have been a couple of cautions for 6 laps, and Felix Rosenquist, his return, he continues to have his struggles. Race control says a drive-through penalty for a pit lane speed violation. And let's get an update on Colton Herta from pit road with Joe Sebastianelli.
So they've been trying to diagnose the issue. They tested it before the stop and everything was working. So it appears as though the flow was fine beforehand. It was an issue getting it down into the car. They've got a canister over and they keep testing, and everything is coming out fine. They shrug their shoulders. So if need be, they have the entire apparatus ready to replace the hose, the nozzle, everything. They're going to keep testing it in between now and the stop.
Race pace has separated itself out a little bit. Big news in the racing world is Chip Ganassi announced that he was leaving NASCAR at the end of this season. For the NASCAR perspective on this, the anchor of the Performance Racing Network, let's hear from Doug Rice.
It's nearly impossible to keep secrets in the NASCAR world. That's why it shocked everybody when this past week that Justin Marks announced that his upstart race team of Trackhouse Racing would be purchasing Chip Ganassi Racing, and this will become in effect at the start of next year. So what does this mean for Kurt Busch and Ross Chastain? Because as of now, the new and larger Trackhouse Racing plans on only fielding 2 teams next year. One of those cars will be driven by Daniel Suarez. The other driver has yet to be announced. A big shakeup in the NASCAR ownership now that Justin Marks, along with his co-owner Pitbull, will control 3 NASCAR charters heading into next season. For IndyCar Radio, I'm Doug Rice.
Thank you, Doug. Look forward to working with you and the gang not too long from now when we all get together at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway in August. For the Chip Ganassi perspective on this story, Joel Sebastianelli has caught up with Chip on pit road.
It has been a very interesting week, surprising all of us, which is pretty hard to do in a 24/7 news cycle, that he would be selling his NASCAR team at the end of the year to Justin Marks and Trackhouse. For you, what tells you when it's time to make a decision like that?
Well, our team really wasn't for sale. Basically, Justin called me up, and he's been around our team a bit. Won an Xfinity race for us, in fact, here at Mid-Ohio. And we've known Justin, and he called up and said he wanted to put a deal together, and we started chatting about it, and one thing led to another.
You reiterated that you would be staying around IndyCar. You've been around this series in some capacity for 40 years. Why is this investment so important to you?
Well, it's it's not that this or that one's more or less important. It just was an opportunity to focus more on this series and IMSA and Extreme E, and to get our NASCAR team in the hands of somebody who's going to take good care of it.
From a day-to-day standpoint, obviously we know who you are, but I don't think we have a great idea of what you do. Will this change the way you allocate time and resources significantly next year towards one program or another?
Well, I don't know that it, significantly. It'll give me, I looked about 6 or 8 weekends where I'll have off for the year, maybe in the fall and the spring. But, we're working 7 days a week in this business.
Before we let you go, just focusing on this weekend and this track, you've won as a team nearly half of the races here. How much are you able to apply from past successes to what we're seeing on track right now?
Well, I think anytime you have success at a track, you can apply those lessons learned to future races there and how they panned out if you understand why you won.
Chip Ganassi, we appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
We pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the IndyCar Radio Network. Lap 39, crawling up on the halfway point. Shouldn't say crawling. We're flying up to the halfway point. Joseph Newgarden, your leader, by 8.7 seconds over Marcus Ericsson. You're listening to the Honda Indy 200 at Mid-Ohio on these great stations, WWCB in Corey, Pennsylvania, WABH in Bath, New York. And it's the home of Alex Wolf, WIMA. The Torch in Lima, Ohio. What a flame-throwing signal that is. And happy to have Alex Wolf with us this weekend. And did a great job at the Indianapolis 500. And again, appreciate him spending time with us here at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Let's go to the other end of pit road from where Alex is. Back to Joel Sebastianelli with an update on the situation with the fueler involving Colton Herta's car.
Why not? They had an extra hose lying around, so they have replaced the entire thing. They just said on the radio to Colton that they'll be able to go a little bit long. So if I'm reading between the lines, it would seem as though even though it was a brutally long pit stop, they did get a full fill. right? They haven't told me that. They were guarding that information, but that's what you would think if they're going a little bit long, and they said that on the radio. So they have a new host for the next time he comes in. He is running in 7th.
This report from the pits brought to you by Speedway, official fuel and convenience store of IndyCar. If we're looking for a race to unfold, it appears as though the race for the 3rd position, Michael Young, starting to get interesting between Scott Dixon and Alexander Rossi with Alex Palou in tow.
Yes, indeed. Scott Dixon has been about 5 car lengths ahead of Rossi, and that's the way it stayed. Alex Palou's the one who's on the charge. Jimmy Johnson now gets out of the way of Scott Dixon. He'll really slow at the bottom of turn number 5. That will allow Alexander Rossi and Alex Palou to get by, but Scott Dixon now able to check out about 5 car lengths.
Yep, Johnson moving over allows 2 Chip Ganassi teammates to streak on by. Dixon, about a 4 car length advantage over Alexander Rossi, evenly split. Another 4 back to Alex Palou. Mark, that is 3rd, 4th, and 5th on the racetrack.
Certainly a veteran move by Jimmy Johnson to let those guys race. Jimmy Johnson currently in the 22nd position, and he is a lap down. Scott Dixon's able to exit the carousel. The car bottoms out just a little bit. He climbs back into the throttle as he sets up for turn number 1. So again, the battle for the 3rd position heads to the keyhole. It's Scott Dixon, Alexander Rossi, and Alex Palou.
I really felt like Rossi might have had a chance to get to Dixon after he'd laid down 1 lap on those red tires because Dixon is on black. But Dixon gets away just a little bit at the bottom of the keyhole. He's got an 8 car length advantage over Rossi, who holds a 3 car length advantage over Palou.
Yeah, Dixon with a nice run out of the keyhole. He's got about a 10 car length advantage as they arrive in turn number 4. Dixon right to the middle of the track and up the hill at turn number 5. He'll roll through that apex with Alexander Rossi now about 10 car lengths behind. Even Alex Palou has dropped back about 8 car lengths to Rossi. They're through 7.
Yeah, but it's a good point by Jake Query. If we have seen the shift over in desired tires this deep into a run, that might be advantage for the drivers on black tires as Rossi loses Dixon. Mark Alex Palou, who is on those primary blacks, he'll try to run down Rossi, who's in 4th.
Should make mention while we were in a commercial break, Jack Harvey on a bit of a differing fuel strategy. He stopped during that break, so mark it down. Lap 38 is when he last stopped. So Davey Hamilton, 7.8 seconds to lead for Joseph Newgarden. Any chance that some of the issues that have befallen Joseph Newgarden the past couple of races kind of seep into his mind at this particular point with him being so dominant as he's been, or because of the fact this is a guy who's a veteran now who's won a couple of championships, he's already put that in the rearview mirror?
Well, I'm going to have to say that he probably, until he gets under 4 laps to go, that he's going to be nervous because it seems to be that 4th lap the last couple of events that's been the one that's affected his result as a win. So right now, what a dominating run. I mean, 7.4 seconds ahead of Ericsson right now. Dixon is actually 7 seconds behind Ericsson as well, spread out in the front of the field as we watch. But Dixon, Rossi, Palou, and Rahal, they got a nice little battle going on.
And, I mean, with the luck that he's had, Davey, it would be understandable that he didn't feel comfortable until they handed him the big trophy, the bottle of champagne, and the big check, huh?
That's right. And never count your paycheck until you get it in your hand. That's for darn sure. We've seen that many times.
Yep, Joseph Newgarden has opened up a lead now of 7.2 seconds, and he is starting to creep up on the car of Dalton Kellett. Kellett is the last driver on the lead lap, and he is currently running in the 21st position, and he might catch up to him in just a couple of laps. That battle that we were talking about earlier with Dixon and Rossi, that's heating up again just a little bit as Scott Dixon wiggled a little bit at the exit of the keyhole, Michael Young, and we'll see what kind of run Rossi gets into turn number 4.
I'll tell you, it was a pretty good run. Alexander Rossi now closes it down within about 7 car lengths, and Rossi will break extra deep into turn number 4. They've lost Alex Palou in that 5th position. Alex Palou dropping back about 15 car lengths, but Scott Dixon still able to hold Alexander Rossi off about 5 car lengths through the Honda Bridge.
They will stay separated by just 5 car lengths. Dixon gets to the top of the hill, the right-hander of turn number 9. He'll head through Thunder Valley. That's where those drivers get pushed into those seats. Rossi about 4 car lengths behind. Another 6 back to 5th place running Alex Palou.
Watching a pretty good battle for the 12th position right now. That is Scott McLaughlin, and he is being tracked down by Santino Ferrucci. And Ferrucci, for now, is right into the tire tracks as they work their way through Thunder Valley. It's about a 2.5 car length advantage now as that twosome sets up for the carousel. McLaughlin putting together a pretty good ride. He's picked up a couple of positions off the start. Santino Ferrucci has 3 top 10s Independence in a limited role for Rahal Letterman Lanigan Racing. The car trying to keep pace with him is Simon Pagano. Again, this is the battle for 12th as it heads toward the keyhole and into the view of Jake Query.
And a couple of very aesthetically pleasing cars. The light blue of Scott McLaughlin with that PPG kind of rainbow scheme on the side pods, and about 2 car lengths back before you get to the high V cherry red machine of Santino Ferrucci. McLaughlin holds him off through turn number 3.
Yeah, Santino Ferrucci with a pretty good run thus far. He started in that 22nd position, now about 3 car lengths behind Scott McLaughlin. Simon Pagano about 15 cars in the rears. McLaughlin now climbs a hill through turn number 5. Back end will wiggle ever so slightly. McLaughlin, the right-hander of 6. Santino Ferrucci 5 car lengths behind.
This is kind of what Ferrucci's done all season long, though. Started in the back in the races he's driven for Rahal Letterman Lanigan Racing and progressively marches his way to the front. Again, Mark, +9 on the day for the part-timer Santino Ferrucci.
And, Davey, when we talked to Graham Rahal this weekend about the prospects, or Bobby Rahal, we should say, about the prospects of going permanently to a 3-car team, of course, the finances have to make sense. It's clear Hy-Vee continues to enhance and deepen their relationship with Rahal Letterman Lanigan Racing. And while he did not commit to Santino Ferrucci, he did say, obviously, he's among the drivers that they're talking to, and with the results that he's produced so far, why not, huh?
Yeah, and if you're in Santino's position, you would like Bobby to say, yeah, he's the guy. If we find funding, we're going to definitely put him in. Bobby didn't say that, but I think he's obviously in the car right now. He has to be one of their, they're working with him. He's doing a good job. Finds himself, like I said, not having a fast car. Him or his teammate, Sato, just seem to struggle, but they're moving their way up right now. But I want to look at, fastest laps of the race. I always try to watch those, Mark, just to see, who's doing what. And the guy that got penalized in qualifying to put back, the local team of Jack Harvey, has fastest lap of the race. No surprise, the Newgarden in second, Colton Herta third. But Hinchcliffe, another guy that's been struggling to have good laps, is in that 4th position as far as 4th fastest lap of the race. And then, the local boy of Graham Rahal is in that 5th.
Scott Dixon cannot shake loose of Santino Ferrucci. Let's get an update on Scott Dixon from pit road with Alex Wolf.
A fascinating glimpse on the scanner of not only the demeanor of Mike Hull and Scott Dixon, but the relationship that they've had of nearly 2 decades. Mike Hull just a few laps ago got on the radio and calmly said to Scott, "Would less front wing help you on your next run?" To which Scott just simply replied, "Yeah, it would." Just 2 buddies having a conversation on the 4th of July. Just happens one of them's going full speed around the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Fascinating to listen to.
And Alexander Rossi is staying right in the tire tracks of Scott Dixon, Nick Yeoman.
Yeah, there's no doubt that veteran leadership, Mike Hull, Scott Dixon, they know their way around Mid-Ohio, but Scott's got his rear view mirrors filled with Alexander Rossi, who's starting to track him back down in that blue and yellow Napa car as they exit Thunder Valley and head to the carousel. It's about 3 or 4 car lengths. Dixon holding off Rossi, who, again, right ahead of Alex Palou. That's 3rd, 4th, and 5th on the racetrack.
Well, certainly we want to talk about the confidence that this gives Alexander Rossi with his 5th place top 5 run he's got underway, Davey. Let's face it, not only is this huge for Alexander Rossi, but when you've had a season as miserable as this and you start to have some success again, that's something that spreads throughout the entire race team.
Yeah, I think so. With Rossi running 4th right now, and if he's able to finish here, I think that's almost a win. I mean, the only glimmer of hope that the Andretti team has had is Colton Herta, and they even had problems today. So, there's still issues within that team, and I was talking to Mario yesterday about it, and if you knew what it was, you would fix it. It's just that you can't just put your finger on it. Everything's kind of the same. They know what they're doing. It's a great racing team. But when things go bad and you just can't put your finger on it, sometimes it takes a long time to fix. And bad luck just seems to continue to hit them. So like you just said, Rossi in a 4th, that's almost like a win for that team right now.
Full field rundown now. We'll complete 48 laps this time by Joseph Newgarden, your leader, by 6.6 seconds over 2nd place running Marcus Ericsson. Scott Dixon is 3rd. Rossi is 4th. Palou is 5th. Rahal is 6th. Colton Herta is 7th. Grosjean is 8th. Pato Award is 9th. Renus VK is 10th. Sebastian Bourdais 11th. Scott McLaughlin is 12th. Santino Ferrucci is 13th. Simon Pagano is 14th. Sato 15th. Daly 16th. 17th is James Hinchcliffe. 18th is Max Chilton. 19th is Ryan Norman. 20th, Jack Harvey. A lap down, 21st, Dalton Kellett. 22nd, Jimmy Johnson. Felix Rosenquist, 2 laps down in 23rd. 2 laps down, Ryan Hunter-Ray is 24th. And it's Ed Jones out of the race in 25th, and Will Power is 26th. Back to that battle for 3rd. Dixon and Rossi to turn 4.
Yeah, Rossi closing in about 3 car lengths or so. Scott Dixon, middle of the track, then does that familiar dive to the inside of turn number 5 as he goes down the hill. Dixon able to gap himself about 4 or 5 car lengths from Rossi. But Nick, Rossi is right there. He's hanging tight.
Yeah, he certainly is. He'd love to get on that podium. 5 top 10 finishes this year in 2021, but none of those finishes have been better than 7th. So running in 4th, looking good, trying to track down Scott Dixon for the final step on the podium here with 31 to go. It's about a 3 car length advantage for the champion Scott Dixon.
Pretty impressive, Davey, that Joseph Newgarden's been able to keep that pace at about 6.6 seconds. I mean, but that does indicate that not only is he hitting his marks, but Marcus Ericsson's doing all he can to try to keep within striking distance. It's just Joseph's got a hooked up race car, and he's a veteran that knows how to keep race pace.
Yeah, and it really doesn't matter if it's on the reds or the black tires, the standard blacks or the softer red compound. We know the last couple races that everybody wanted to get those reds off as fast as they could because they just weren't, showing the speed towards the middle and end of the runs. But here at Mid-Ohio seems to be good as we see Simon Pagenaud coming down pit lane.
And Dixon and Rossi getting interesting again in turn number 4, Michael Young.
Yeah, Alexander Rossi, 4 top 5s, including that win here at Mid-Ohio back in 2018. He's gapped it back down to about 2 car lengths. That's allowed Alex Palou to rejoin that battle as well. So Alexander Rossi really on the charge right now, trying to catch Scott Dixon.
And Dixon might be holding Rossi up a little bit because all of a sudden Alex Palou has creeped into the picture in the 5th spot. Here comes Graham Rahal in 6th. And Mark, if you look right behind them, it's 7th place running Colton Herta trying to charge back after their pit miscue.
Yeah, and a little bit further back from that, we saw McLaughlin and Ferrucci engaged in a pretty good battle in which a position was gained by Santino Ferrucci. He had been stalking him for quite some time. Just like that, the leaders back off of turn number 1 will slide back to that battle for 3rd as Simon Pagenaud went on and off pit road. Jake pick up Dixon, Rossi, Palou, and now Rahal starting to get into the mix.
Yeah, Rahal's right there on Palou. As a matter of fact, Alex Palou got just a little bit loose at the exit of the keyhole, but Rahal not able to hold on or make up ground. Dixon has a 4 car length advantage in front of them over Rossi.
It's becoming clear Scott Dixon may be holding this pack up. Alexander Rossi still 3 car lengths behind, and then it's Alex Palou. But the big mover is Graham Rahal. Graham Rahal all over the rear wing of Alex Palou as he entered turn number 4. Graham Rahal about 3 car lengths as they exit turn number 6.
Rahal runs in that 6th spot, trying to track down Alex Palou in 5th. Alexander Rossi in 4th, Scott Dixon in 3rd. Reality, though, Mark, up front, Newgarden and Ericsson have set sail, but throw a blanket over 3rd through 7th.
Pit window for the leaders opening soon. 51 laps complete with Joseph Newgarden, your leader at Mid-Ohio. 52 of 80 laps complete, and Davey, a fevered race pace is underway after a very disjointed start.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, these guys have been cutting lap times. Pit stops have been really, really good, except for one guy that's hurt up. We see guys pitting right now. Matter of fact, our leader coming down pit lane right now, Mark.
Yep, in the XPEL machine, he has led 50 laps on the day. Joel Sebastianelli, you're going to welcome your leader, Joseph Newgarden. Also your pole sitter for the 3rd consecutive race to pit road.
Joseph Newgarden slides his Chevy right onto his marks. He's going from blacks to blacks. Patrick Stewart slips the fuel out. A flawless final stop. He's been flawless all weekend. 6.5 seconds he's gone.
Renus VK, McLaughlin among those on and off pit road. Let's go to the other end and check in with Alex Wolf.
Graham Rahal off of blacks, stays on blacks, down the way. Very smooth stop for the first Fifth Third Bank team.
And a clean stop for the 27 Napa machine of Alexander Rossi. The reports from pit road being brought to you by Speedway, the official fuel and convenience store of IndyCar. And again, Davey, this is the final stop for these teams and these drivers, so timing is of the essence most assuredly.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing that you want to do, we talked about it many times, when that pit window opens, especially for the final stint, you want to get in there just in case the yellow flag was to come out. That's what we've seen the leader do. Ericsson's staying out right now. If the yellow flag was to come out, well, as I say that, he's coming on pit lane right now.
Jake Query.
We have somebody that missed turn number 1, went through the runoff area. It's Renus VK. He is trying to get back up to speed. Ryan Hunter-Ray got past him, but it held up Sebastian Bourdais and Jack Harvey. So a moment there for Renus VK. He got through in the runoff area, but did manage to get back on track. That Sonax machine is back at speed.
Marcus Ericsson comes to pit road for service. We see just behind him Scott Dixon, and Alex Wolf sees the Wolfpack go to work.
The Wolfpack stays on the primary blacks. Front wing adjustment looked like maybe down and away. Smooth stop for the number 9 team.
And Erickson was not able to close the gap on that stop at all, Jake Query, between he and Joseph Newgarden.
No, as a matter of fact, he works his way, does Marcus Erickson at the bottom of the keyhole, almost looking like coming off the braking zone. He's still trying to get it up to speed, and he is trying to reel in Joseph Newgarden. But, Michael, there's a 25 car length gap between the two.
Joseph Newgarden just now entering turn number 4, and right now it's Marcus Erickson entering turn number 4. Both drivers on those black tires as Marcus Erickson crests the hill in turn number 5. Boy, if he's going to catch Joseph Newgarden, he's got to get on his giddy-up right now.
And they make their way through the S's. Further back, we saw both Scott Dixon and Alexander Rossi pit. Mark, I wondered if Dixon pitting a lap later was going to hurt him. Great work by the Wolfpack as Dixon stayed ahead of Alexander Rossi, and right now will keep him in podium contention.
Yeah, and we see Alex Palou, your points leader, who's coming onto pit road now. It's been a solid day for Alex Palou. A little disappointed after qualifying, but the NTT data machine comes onto pit road, and the crew goes to work. Let's go to Joel Sebastianelli.
Both Pato O'Ward and Alex Palou coming in. Palou is out with no adjustments. Pato O'Ward the same. O'Ward is on reds. I can't get a great view on Alex Palou, but no adjustments to the 10.
So now it's going to be interesting coming off the pit road to see where everybody cycles back in. And Alex Palou heads to the top of the keyhole. And let's see, did he gain a couple of positions? Looks like he did on that pit stop, Jake Query.
I'll tell you what, Palou's got Dixon behind him, but Dixon held up Alexander Rossi. Michael, this is the better battle right now. Can Rossi call in on that PNC Bank machine of Scott Dixon?
Yeah, well, Palou was 5th before the stop, so now he's in that 3rd position. Dixon in 4th, Rossi in 5th, and Rossi all over that rear wing of Scott Dixon. We saw that battle before, but now they're battling for a different position. Graham Rahal right behind Alexander Rossi, so Dixon still under pressure from that machine of Alexander Rossi.
Boy, you don't win championships just on track. Sometimes the pit crew's got to be good, and that NTT data crew vaults Alex Palou from 5th up to 3rd. And Mark, he's got a big gap, about 10 car lengths on that battle, Dixon and Rossi, that now is going to cycle out to be a battle for 4th.
And now, Davey, you might look at your timing and scoring as we're describing this and say, what are you guys talking about? I mean, we see Palou in 4th, not 3rd, but Colton Herta last stopped on lap 31, and he is the only one among the front runners that's yet to stop.
Yeah, he's going to be coming in momentarily, but I have to say this, is that Chip Ganassi Racing has came here with their guns loaded again. Scott Dixon winning 6 times. Well, they're right now 2nd, 3rd, and 4th place. You know, the biggest surprise there, though, Dixon is the 3rd one in that line. We're usually the 6-time winner. We're used to him seeing him up front at all the races in front of his teammates or winning all of the races. But right now, his teammate Erickson and Palou are in front of him.
Him holding on that position is not a foregone conclusion, Michael Young. He's got a big challenge into turn number 4.
Yeah, it's a de facto battle for 4th as we'll see Colton Herta come to pit lane soon. Scott Dixon goes down the hill, a little arrow wash for Alexander Rossi. Gives Scott Dixon about a 3 car length advantage over the machine of Alexander Rossi. Graham Rahal in tow as well.
They are nose to tail, separated by just a couple car lengths. Michael called it. Colton Herta will give up the lead and come to pit lane. They're nose to tail, though, Mark, further back, but let's go to pit lane. Here comes Colton Herta.
Joel?
They've got a new fuel hose for the 26. This is where it all went wrong last time. No issues with the fuel. Oh, no, but he stalled it. The pit issues get worse for Colton Herta. Now they're going to have to try to start it up again. And they do get it up on the first try. He is out in 18 seconds on blacks.
And the update brought to you by Speedway, the official fuel and convenience store of IndyCar. Romain Grosjean is running in the 8th position. And Jake Query, all Colton Herta can do is watch him sail away.
Yep, and that's exactly what Romain Grosjean is able to do because Colton Herta on those black tires as he works his way now at the bottom of the keyhole. He's got a 15 car length advantage disadvantage to make up on Grosjean. Then there's a big gap back before Santino Ferrucci.
Boy, everybody talking about the machine of Colton Herta, that driver and his potential to win here this weekend. 2 disastrous pit stops. And as you said, Mark James and Jake Query, Romain Grosjean in that 8th position, about 20 car lengths ahead of Colton Herta.
And Davey, you just don't, you just take it for granted because it's normally such a well-oiled machine. But I know that team has to feel awfully bad about 2 pit stops that have not gone well for Colton Herta today.
Well, and how you look back at this, and something went bad. Obviously, they're going to have a debrief on what happened with that fuel hose. And then secondly, Colton stalled it. I mean, drivers make errors as well. He's probably frustrated, probably was expecting the fuel not to go in so fast. It was a really good pit stop and just missed the timing of letting that clutch out to RPMs and made a bad day worse. So, bullet fast, his team and that driver, but just didn't have the luck today.
I just saw a teammate, got to give him a tip of the cap, Felix Rosenqvist. He's currently 2 laps down in 23rd, but he moved over on that short main straightaway, Davey, and he gave his teammate Pato O'Ward a chance to continue that chase. He's trying to chase down Dixon Rossi and Ray Hall that are running in front of him in 5th, 6th, and 7th.
Yeah, that's right. O'Ward gaining 13 spots since the start of this race, and Ferrucci 12. But yeah, how about Potter? We knew he was going to come forward from that 20th position, but 7th's not where he wants to be either. He knows that he wants to be in victory circle, but another good run for him. He's going down in the points. He's losing some points to Palou in the points championship, but still sits second.
Coming up on 60 laps complete with 20 to go. Newgarden, your leader, by 6.8 seconds over Marcus Ericsson. Palou, Dixon, and Rossi the top 5. Ray Hall and O'Ward 6th and 7th. Grosjean is 8th. Herta is 9th. Ferrucci is 10th. Bourdais 11th. Sato is 12th. McLaughlin is 13th. Pagano is 14th. 15th, Connor Daly. 16th, Rinus VeeKay. 17th, Jack Harvey. 18th, James Hinchcliffe. 19th, Max Chilton. Ryan Norman a lap down at 20th. 21st, Dalton Kellett a lap down. Same for Jimmy Johnson at 22nd. 2 laps down, Rosenqvist at 23rd. Ryan Hunter-Reay in 24th. Out of the race, 25th. Ed Jones, 26th. Will Power. Joseph Newgarden has led 52 laps. Herta has led 5. Ericsson has led 2. O'Ward plus 13 on the day. Ferrucci is plus 12. Grosjean is plus 10. There have been 2 cautions for 6 laps. Let's take a hot lap with Jake Query.
It's the hot lap, getting to know the driver from Dale Coyne with RWR. We're talking about Romain Grosjean. Let's begin with this. I want to know your favorite cereal, your favorite breakfast cereal. What would it be?
Okay. I do bread and butter for breakfast and jam.
I'm French. You're French, yeah. Okay, nothing wrong with that. Your favorite musical act, whether it be a singer, band, who would it be?
I go Bruno Mars.
Okay. Do you have any superstitions? Anything you have to do before or after a race?
Not really any superstition. I would always jump in the car from the right-hand side. It's not such a superstition. It's just the way that I get into my zone. Same thing. I always dress the same way in terms of putting my balaclava, my gloves, and so on. But I don't think it's superstition. I don't mind if it doesn't happen, but I guess it's just a way to get into the zone.
If you were not a professional race car driver, what do you think you'd be doing for a living?
I think I would have tried to be an aerodynamic engineer. So I was always into racing cars, and I loved aerodynamic and the way you can design cars. So I would have tried to be an engineer that way.
A native of France, so French is the obvious, English as well, clearly. But how many languages do you speak?
I speak Italian, and I can speak a bit of German as well.
In what language do you dream?
In French or in English, depends.
That's how you know you're fluent, right? That's what they tell me.
I guess so.
That's what they tell me, at least. I only speak English, though, and a little bit of Hoosier. Okay, lastly, your favorite vacation spot is where?
I love Mauritius. It's definitely one of the places I love on Earth, but I want to go to Hawaii as well.
Hawaii's gorgeous. By the way, your hot lap is complete.
62 laps complete. It's the Joseph Newgarden Show at Mid-Ohio. Longtime anchor of the IMS Radio Network. Paul Page's new book can now be found trackside. Stop by any of the merchandise trailers when you're at the track and pick up your copy of Hello, I'm Paul Page. It's race day in Indianapolis. It is your chance to find out what it was like to be in the broadcast booth for the greatest spectacle in racing. 6.5 seconds to lead for Joseph Newgarden, but Davey, it has stayed pretty interesting from third on back. I mean, Palou, Dixon, Rossi, Ray Hall, O'Ward, all engaged in a pretty good battle.
Yeah, no fun. That first and second place guy, Newgarden big lead over Ericsson big lead over Palou, but you're exactly right. A lot of fun between Palou, Dixon, Rossi, Ray Hall, and look at Pato O'Ward sneaking in there. He wants a piece of that action. Grosjean right behind him.
Yeah, Ray Hall and O'Ward probably the best among that, although as they say that, the battle for fifth, Alexander Rossi has it. They all won it, Jake.
Yeah, Rossi has right now Rahal right on his rear wing, and then you've got a gap back before O'Ward. But Michael, Pato O'Ward's not letting that duo out of his sight.
No, he was a lot closer last time by. He's trying to get that 6th position wrestled away from Graham Rahal, but Graham has been able to check out that last time by about 4 car lengths ahead of Pato O'Ward. Alexander Rossi's fallen about 10 car lengths back, and now Graham Rahal all over that rear wing of Alexander Rossi again.
It's been like a rubber band from 5th on 8th. Really, for the last 40 laps, these drivers, they get close, they fade back, and then all of a sudden the guy behind him starts to close. This time through Thunder Valley, looks like Pato O'Ward's the closest to making a pass. He's about 2 car lengths behind Graham Rahal in 6th.
About 6 times in the history, Davey Hamilton, the fewest caution periods have been 0. We had 2 caution periods. They came within the first 6-7 laps of the race, and since that time, boy, I'll tell you, it's been a blistering pace set by Joseph Newgarden.
Yeah, it sure has. Everybody's chasing him down. It's always good to see. No yellows. That means nobody's had issues or broke down, and everybody has an opportunity to finish well. But laps are clicking off. Only 16 laps to go. Seems like this race has barely started.
There is no question, Michael Young, that Graham Rahal knows that Pato O'Ward is coming. They come off of turn number 3, and they're basically nose to tail.
Yeah, Dixon's got about a 5 car length advantage over Rossi, then Graham Rahal. Pato O'Ward 2 car lengths behind Graham Rahal. Romain Grosjean will join that battle as well. But just before that, guys, it was odd. Jack Harvey passed Marcus Ericsson, and it looked like Marcus Ericsson was falling back. Not sure if there's anything wrong with that car, but it was just an interesting set of circumstances down here at 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on Ericsson because the lead was about 6.8 seconds, and now it's up to 7.2 seconds. Maybe conventional wisdom tells you that if you're Marcus Ericsson and Jack Harvey is looking to get a little racy since he's a lap down, Davey, it probably made sense for Ericsson to just simply let him go.
Yeah, I think that's a situation. We know that Harvey has such a fast race car. Matter of fact, fastest lap of the race that he has ran. Just didn't have luck qualifying and got out of pit strategy just trying something, and probably thought just exactly that. Hey, this guy's faster. I got a solid 2nd place finish. I'm actually 13 seconds ahead of 3rd place. Why not let him go?
And we look up at timing and scoring. Santino Ferrucci, Davey, has worked his way into the top 10. If he's able to hold that position or maybe improve it by a spot or 2 in 4 starts for Rahal, Letterman, Lanigan Racing, well, that'll be 4 top 10s for him.
Yeah, how about that? And that's what he needs. As we talked earlier about Bobby Rahal wanting to have a 3rd car, not confirming that Ferrucci is the driver, said he has others in mind as well. But maybe this is solidified to where Ferrucci gets a full-time ride, where he belongs, by the way, in the IndyCar Series.
7.1 seconds now, the lead for Joseph Newgarden over Marcus Ericsson. And Ericsson, plenty of comfort behind him in terms of cars trying to sneak up on him. It is a long time before you get to 3rd place running Alex Palou, and Palou has the car of Dalton Kellett tucked in just behind him. Kellett is currently 21st and a lap down. It's behind all of that where things get interesting. 4th place running Scott Dixon heads to the keyhole.
Scott Dixon's got to be thinking to himself, every time I come to this area of the racetrack here on the far south end of the keyhole, Alexander Rossi is right there on him. And then it's Graham Rahal followed by Pato O'Ward. Michael, I thought O'Ward was going to get in on Rahal, but Rahal's gotten himself some breathing room back.
Yeah, everybody's kind of gapped themselves about 2 car lengths. Dixon now enters 4, Rossi, then Rahal, O'Ward, Romain Grosjean, and the guy that's really coming in on this battle is 9th place running Colton Herta. Colton about 3 car lengths over Romain Grosjean behind, I should say, as Scott Dixon makes his way underneath the Honda bridge.
Yeah, you mentioned, Michael, the tail end car on that train, Colton Herta. It's a testament to just how fast that car is to have 2 pit mistakes, and here he is running in 9th with this battle of drivers running 3rd or 4th on back. Colton Herta, the tail end of that train, Mark, out of Thunder Valley. Everybody separated evenly, as Michael said, by about 2 car lengths.
Yeah, Romain Grosjean and Colton Herta are late comers to that party. Once they were able to work their way around the car of Felix Rosenqvist, which is currently running a couple of laps down to the 23rd position, they joined in that battle. We'll revisit it with Jake Query, 5th place, 4th place running Scott Dixon to the keyhole.
Dixon works his way in. This time, Alexander Rossi started to again take a look to a closer line, but he started to swing wide as Dixon got away exiting the keyhole. That allowed Graham Rahal to make a closer run on Alexander Rossi.
Yeah, Scott Dixon got a nice run out of the keyhole, gaps himself about 5 car lengths. Rossi now has mirrors full of Graham Rahal. Pato O'Ward about 2 car lengths in the rears of Graham Rahal. Then Romain Grosjean and Colton Herta. Scott Dixon back to that 4th place battle, has about a 4 car length advantage over Rossi.
And Nick Yeoman, doubleheader weekend for the Indy Lights presented by Cooper Tires. You were on the call for a couple of wins by Kyle Kirkwood. Normally we like to talk to the winner, but to show you what a dedicated family man Kyle Kirkwood is, he couldn't join us because he had to get his grandmother to the airport. How's that for family dedication?
I wouldn't drive my grandma to the airport, I'll be honest with you. No, it's a great story, and he's having a great year. Picked up his 5th and 6th race win of the season this weekend, Mark. He's now 11 points up on David Malukas, looking like a potential IndyCar prospect, especially if he can cap that championship off and get that scholarship prize. And he drives for Michael Andretti's team in IndyCar, drives for Jimmy Vasser's team in IMSA. So there are a lot of car owners that are going to be awful impressed with Kyle Kirkwood. And perhaps most importantly, as you mentioned, got to be impressed with him as a family man. Congratulations to Kyle Kirkwood, and congratulations to his grandmother as well.
Absolutely. That's quite an influence, and a proud grandmother. We saw her in Victory Lane, in fact, after both races this weekend. And Davey, Kyle Kirkwood, one of those guys, as the silly season begins earlier and earlier, he's certainly going to be part of the conversation, especially if he's able to secure that scholarship.
He's definitely on the top of the list. Without a doubt, he has to be. I mean, I would love to see this kid in IndyCar just to see what he could do, because he's the next hot gun. And we've seen Pato O'Ward, Colton Herta come through battling against each other. But right now, it seems to be Kirkwood in the Indy Lights. The guy that, it's not 2 guys battling with each other that seem to have a lot of talent. It's just him right now. So he has to be on top of a lot of guys' lists, as Nick just mentioned. And if he's not in IndyCar next year, I'll be surprised.
70 laps complete next time by. Joseph Newgarden's lead has been shaved a bit by Marcus Ericsson, 5.2 seconds. And we see in hot pursuit, Nick Yeoman, Jack Harvey of Joseph Newgarden. Harvey with a fast race car in 19th, a lap down. He wants to unlap himself.
And again, Joseph, I'm sure, has been given the information about where Jack Harvey's running on the racetrack. And that's not a battle for the lead. We'll see if he lets him go like Marcus Ericsson did through Thunder Valley. Newgarden's advantage over Harvey about 4 car lengths. But again, nothing to gain, Mark, by holding up that driver running in the 19th spot.
And as a result of all of this, it's not lost on me, Jake Query, that lead has it continues to drop. It's now 4.8 seconds. You won't be able to see Ericsson immediately, but Jack Harvey with a big run up toward you in the keyhole.
Yeah, Jack Harvey is right on the rear wing of Joseph Newgarden. One thing of note, by the way, is now Marcus Ericsson comes into the keyhole. Last time by this area, Romain Grosjean kicked up a little dirt, went to the outside. That allowed Colton Herta, Mark, to make up a spot.
And to Michael Young now. Is Jack Harvey going to be able to unlap himself into turn number 4?
He certainly will. Nearly touches Joseph Newgarden as he cleared him. Harvey went to the inside and Joseph Newgarden checked up, but that really slowed Joseph Newgarden's momentum down. Marcus Ericsson just now getting out of the exit of 5. So Joseph just exiting 7, and Marcus Ericsson enters it and exits now.
And on the stopwatch, Michael, it looks like it's going to go from 4.8 seconds, Newgarden's lead, now down to 3.7. So just that little bit of battling, Mark, with Jack Harvey. Newgarden loses about a full second on the stopwatch.
Davey, I think that all going into turn number 4 was, I think, just a little too close for comfort in terms of the proximity between those 2 cars.
Yeah, that was a little tight right there, right? A lot of risk right there for sure. But how about this? Colton Herta still shows speed, as we were just talking, gets by Grosjean. So move Colton to that 8th spot.
Then Michael Young, we see Marcus Ericsson continue to close the gap on Joseph Newgarden. It is down to 3.4 seconds now. Joseph Newgarden exits the keyhole, and I think he might be starting to catch glimpses of Ericsson in his rearview mirror as they head to turn 4.
a noticeable difference in the lead that Joseph Newgarden has. He is just now getting to the top of the hill at turn number 5. Last time by, Ericsson wasn't even entering that turn, and Ericsson's already there. So Joseph Newgarden exits turn number 6 with Marcus Ericsson in hot pursuit. Harvey's already passed it about 8 car lengths ahead of Joseph Newgarden.
Yeah, this is pretty much the last thing Joseph Newgarden fans want to hear, especially with the way that wins have slipped away in the closing laps with 9 to go. Mark, you're right, 3.3 seconds. Ericsson not close enough to make a pass attempt, but it does appear he's starting to close.
Top 10, Joseph Newgarden, Ericsson, Palou, Dixon, Rossi, Rahal, Award, Herta, Grosjean, and Santino Ferrucci. And Davey, let's go back to the last round of stops. The biggest beneficiary, Alex Palou. His team was able to gain him 3 positions on his last pit stop. Why is that significant? He is your points leader, and he was able to bump it up a couple of points, currently leading Pato Award by 37 points.
That second place in points has been moving up and down from 31, 35, now to 37. Exactly right, man. What a great job by that pit crew of Palou. Hard to beat the Wolfpack, but they did, and got him out in front of his teammate Scott Dixon. So this is what it's all about, trying to keep ahead of Award at all costs, because that's who he's fighting for in this championship.
5th, 6th, 7th. It's still interesting. Colton Herta in that group too. Jake Query in the keyhole.
As a matter of fact, Colton Herta is getting right up there with the good view of it. In front of him, he sees a really good battle. It's Alexander Rossi with Graham Rahal.
Scott Dixon's checked out about 8 car lengths. Now Alexander Rossi has Graham Rahal trying to get around him. So Alexander Rossi in that 5th position. Graham Rahal in 6th trying to get around. Pato Award in 7th. Colton Herta in 8th. Romath Grosjean falls back about 10 car lengths in 9th. And Santino Ferrucci will join that battle as well in 10th.
Yeah, this has been the battle all day long, from 3rd to about 8th or 9th. Consistently, these guys slugging it out. Alex Palou has 3rd fairly comfortably, 6 seconds ahead of Scott Dixon. And then, Mark, throw a blanket over Dixon, Rossi, Rahal, Award, and Herta inside the top 8.
A 10th here and a 10th there. What are we talking about? We're talking about Joseph Newgarden's lead over Marcus Ericsson. It seemed like just a few moments ago it was up around 6.5, maybe 7 seconds, and now all of a sudden it is down to a 3-second advantage. But let's go back to Dixon, Rossi, Rahal, Award, and Herta. There's some slower cars in front of them now, Jake Query. So as they exit the keyhole now, it's Scott Dixon, Rossi, Rahal, Award, and Herta as they start to set up for turn number 4 and Michael Young.
Yeah, and Dalton Kellett's right in front of Scott Dixon, and he may hold this whole gaggle of cars up. Dixon 4 car lengths ahead of Alexander Rossi. Graham Rahal 3 car lengths in arrears. Pato Award then closes in on the rear wing of Graham Rahal. Colton Herta there as well, and Romain Grosjean and Santino Ferrucci starting to regain the lost ground that they had.
How does this group, 4th on back, navigate the lap car of Dalton Kellett? Because the tight confines of Mid-Ohio, it is not easy to do. Scott Dixon going to be the first one to catch that car of Dalton Kellett through the carousel. Kellett about a 2-car length advantage on Dixon, Mark, as they make their way out of the final corner.
6 laps to go. Michael Young, the lead down to 2.7 seconds for Joseph Newgarden into turn 4.
Watching Joseph Newgarden and marking where he is in turn number 5. Marcus Ericsson has closed that gap. He's about 15 to 18 car lengths behind Joseph Newgarden. Newgarden will swing through turn number 6, clears turn number 6, but Marcus Ericsson is right there, 15 car lengths as Marcus Ericsson wiggles ever so slightly.
Ericsson can see him, but can he smell him? 2.6 seconds back. They make their way through Thunder Valley. He can see him at that windscreen of this race car as they head to the carousel, Mark, with 6 laps to go.
Battle for 4th continues to stack up behind Dalton Kellett into turn number 4.
Scott Dixon has Alexander Rossi all over his rear wing, but the bigger battle is for that 6th position. Graham Rahal, Pato Award, and now Colton Herta starts to look into the inside of Pato Award.
They are all over each other underneath the Honda bridge, back up to the twin left-handers. Pato Award about a car length behind Rahal, and another car length back to Colton Herta.
5 laps to go. The leader into the keyhole, Jake Query, to lead 2.6 seconds.
And it is visibly shrinking because now it's down to about 18 car lengths. Joseph Newgarden sets up now exiting turn number 3, and he is being pursued by Marcus Ericsson.
Joseph Newgarden has to think to himself, what do I need to do to win a race? He enters turn number 4, and Marcus Ericsson has closed that gap yet again. Marcus Ericsson climbs a hill in turn number 5. Joseph Newgarden smoothly through turn number 6. Now Marcus Ericsson about the same distance back as he exits turn number 6 and underneath the Honda bridge. bridge.
It's 2.8 seconds as Ericsson streams underneath that Honda bridge. If Newgarden's got an extra gear, he's going to need to find it, Mark. The advantage still 2.8 seconds.
Scott Dixon, the first guy to clear Dalton Kellett. That's a battle for fourth into turn number 4.
Yeah, and Alexander Rossi in that 5th position gets right on that rear wing of Dalton Kellett. That allows Graham Rahal to close that gap. Colton Hurd is there. Romain Grosjean. Pato O'Ward falling back to that 9th position. Santino Ferrucci in 10th.
Underneath the Honda bridge, looks like Rossi will get around Kellett. In fact, Kellett moving over to driver's left. Markey does the nice thing. He's going to let all these front runners by as they make their way through Thunder Valley.
Meanwhile, that lead has kind of sorted itself out a little bit. It's 2.6 seconds, Davey. It looks like Newgarden's able to hold serve for now, but no question that gap is closed between he and Ericsson.
Yeah, I think it's 4 laps to go. That's the number, right? That's the number that Joseph Newgarden, the last couple of races, something's happened and he didn't go on to complete the race win. So I think he's taking it easy. He knows who's behind him. His crew's telling him that 2.5 seconds is a big lead still. That's a huge lead with only 5 laps to go. But how about the points championship? Grosjean passing O'Ward knocks him down from 37 to 41 behind the leader.
Scott Dixon, the biggest beneficiary in terms of the timing on the pass of Dalton Kellett, Michael Young. He's now got a firm command of the 4th position.
Yeah, call it about 10 car lengths. Alexander Rossi is behind him, then Graham Rahal. Colton Herta only 1 car length behind Graham Rahal. Romain Grosjean about 2 car lengths behind Colton Herta, then Pato O'Ward and Santino Ferrucci. But as you said, Mark James, Scott Dixon, the big benefactor of the slower Dalton Kellett car.
Newgarden, your race leader. Marcus Ericsson second. Then it is Alex Palou third. Everybody nose to tail with that battle on back through Thunder Valley. Everyone's separated, Mark, by a couple car lengths.
2.2 seconds the leader, Jake Query. The advantage for Joseph Newgarden with 3 laps to go.
And Newgarden is going to come up on Ryan Hunter-Reay potentially. But, again, Michael, that gap to Marcus Ericsson shrinking a little more for Joseph Newgarden.
Yeah, that's the last thing Joseph Newgarden needs to see. He's got Ryan Hunter-Reay, Jack Harvey, and Max Chilton all ahead of him. That allows the machine of Marcus Ericsson to close that gap. Boy, he's really closed it down that time by, call it 10 car lengths.
Yep, it's under 2 seconds. Underneath the Honda bridge, Newgarden through the first left-hander of turn 8, through the second left-hander, right-hander of turn number 9, through Thunder Valley. Mark, it's down to 1.8 seconds. This lap traffic may affect Newgarden here in the closing laps.
Yeah, Davey, he's going to have to deal with lap traffic. There's no doubt about it as he heads to the carousel.
Well, he's not gaining on that lap traffic as fast as Ericsson's gaining on him, so that's interesting. He's about 30 car lengths behind Ryan Hunter-Reay, about 15 car lengths between him and Ericsson. Be close if they catch Ryan Hunter-Reay. Ryan Hunter-Reay's last lap on the track was a 1:10. Joseph Newgarden a 1:10 as well, so they're running about the same speed.
1.4 seconds, the lead in the keyhole, Jake Query.
The lead is shrinking and shrinking for Joseph Newgarden. He's at the bottom of the keyhole. He now sets up for turn number 3, but he does so with Marcus Ericsson getting him back in sight.
Penultimate lap as we see Joseph Newgarden and now Marcus Ericsson about 8 car lengths behind. Newgarden negotiates turn number 4 and Marcus Ericsson is right there. Newgarden to the inside of turn number 5. He'll go down that hill, gain about a car length or so, but Marcus Ericsson battles right back. Call it 7 car lengths through 7.
7 car lengths underneath the Honda bridge. Newgarden led with 3 laps to go at Detroit, with 2 laps to go at Road America. Markey is trying to hang on. He's got a lap and a half to go, but Marcus Ericsson has closed to within 1.4 seconds.
It was 1.5 when they entered Thunder Valley. It's now down to 1.1. The white flag flies. Joseph Newgarden trying to hang on. The hard-charging Marcus Ericsson looking for his second win of the season. Joseph Newgarden looking for his first. Jake Query, it's down to 0.8 of a second off of turn number 1.
Joseph Newgarden has had issues in the keyhole on the last lap of this race in the past. Marcus Ericsson is hoping for it now. The gap is now down to just 4 car lengths. Newgarden a little bit loose coming off the bottom of the keyhole. Marcus Ericsson in the Husky Chocolate Machine trying to reel in Joseph Newgarden.
50 years ago yesterday, Roger Penske got his first win as a team owner. Trying to get 220 today. Joseph Newgarden 3 car lengths ahead of Marcus Ericsson as they make their way through turn number 5. Marcus Ericsson is there. Call that gap now 4 car lengths. Ericsson through turn number 6. Joseph Newgarden, a 3-car length advantage through 7.
The Swedish driver closing in on Joseph Newgarden through turn number 8. It's still 3 car lengths. Newgarden, will that car wiggle? It looks planted down through Thunder Valley. He's trying to hold on. Mark, it's 4 car lengths. Bring Joseph Newgarden and Marcus Ericsson home.
Reminiscent of the battle a couple of years ago between Scott Dixon and Felix Rosenqvist when Rosenqvist was the hard charger. They enter the carousel off the final turn for the final time. Twin checkers out, and Joseph Newgarden probably will be as relieved as any driver ever to get to victory lane. He wins the Honda Indy 200 at Mid-Ohio. Ericsson, a spirited battle, finishes second. Palou finishes third. Scott Dixon fourth. And Alexander Rossi comes home fifth.
Hey Siri, play IndyCar Radio on TuneIn.
The Honda HR-V, CR-V, Pilot, Passport, and Ridgeline. They all have one thing in common. They never back off from a challenge. Available with all-wheel drive, the Honda SUV lineup has the performance you can count on and the capability to amaze. Ask Kelley Blue Book. They named Honda their 2020 Best Value brand. So contact your Honda dealer or shop online today.
Based on 2020 brand image awards from Kelley Blue Book, visit kbb.com for more information.
This is Entity IndyCar driver Simon Pagenaud from the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. This is IndyCar Radio Network.
For more than 30 years, Racing for Kids and the Children's Foundation have partnered together to advance children's health and wellness, with focus areas of mental health, abuse and neglect, injury prevention, cardiology and oncology research, and nutritional wellness. The Children's Foundation is leading children and families on the path toward a happier, healthier future. The Children's Foundation and Racing for Kids, partners on the move.
Hear IndyCar Racing.
We're going to go side by side into turn 1.
24/7.
Bob and weave. Palou trying to hold off Castroneves.
On IndyCarRadio.com.
High side in turn number 1. Voigt, Unser, Mears, and maybe Castroneves. Elio takes the lead out of turn 1.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week on IndyCarRadio.com.
Twin checkers out, and then there were 4. Elio Castroneves joins the 4-time winners club.
Or download the TuneIn app to your phone or tablet.
Oh, boy, what a finish, Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. How about Joseph Newgarden? Boy, finally gets the monkey off his back and the Team Penske back as well. As we've mentioned, 99 of the last 125 laps led coming into this race. And, Davey, let's face it, from the time that car unloaded, he clearly was the car to beat. And he held it firm to that all throughout the course of the weekend. A dominating weekend for him.
Yeah, absolutely. And what a nice win for Roger Penske, celebrating his 50th win, or 50th year, I should say. So yeah, absolutely dominated. We could be talking about Joseph Newgarden 3 in a row and having 3 wins right now, but this is their first. I guarantee that you can just see the team, that Penske team, celebrating like it's their first win ever. So they're all excited. Joseph has to be excited. What a huge relief.
Well, 50th anniversary of their first win. It was at Pocono. It was with Mark Donohue, and it was in a race in which Mark Donohue also set on pole.
Yeah, absolutely. So great day for Roger. I mean, another little history book add to, and 50 years for Roger. Pretty amazing winning races that long. And Ganassi, the Ganassi team, running second, third, and fourth. How impressive is that?
Well, it's been a pretty good week for Chip. I mean, all in all, he made headlines, and you heard us documented earlier with the sale of his NASCAR team effective at the end of the season. And, yeah, to come home second, third, and fourth. And most everybody's talking about Alex Palou and Scott Dixon, but I think it's time to start talking about Marcus Ericsson, too.
Yeah, what a great run. I'm happy for him. We've seen him kind of up and down the start of the season. Another great thing for him to look at as a big pitcher. He's 5th in points. He moved up 3 positions, put himself 5th in points. So another great. That's hats off to him. He's a great race driver. He's with a good team. I could see him staying with this team with Palou for a long time.
Now again, that gap closed plenty. I believe at one point the lead was 8.9 seconds. Marcus Ericsson with a hard charge. We'll hear from him in a few minutes. But first, we need to hear from your points leader. He finished third, Alex Palou.
Awesome. As he's getting congratulations from his team, Alex Palou For you, it was a great run out there. Started 7th, and great pit work by your team, but the strategy gets you up to the 3rd step of the podium.
Yeah, it was a good day for the number 10 NTT Data Honda car. The car was really good all weekend. We missed a bit on qualifying yesterday. I think it was my fault more than the car, but super happy, another podium. But yeah, I think this podium I owe to the guys. Like, they did an amazing job on strategy, and on pit stops we were super fast. So super happy. And yeah, another podium. I like being on the podium, but we need to win some more races. So yeah, we'll have some weeks now just to relax, visualize, and do everything we did now, and try and go even better for the last half of the season.
And when you talk about those weeks to relax before you head to the streets of Nashville, when you think about how far you've come in the last couple of years, do you have bruises sometimes in the arms pitching yourself? But here you are standing there, you extend your points leader in the NTT IndyCar Series.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm super proud. I'm always super happy. I got an opportunity that I could never imagine from Chip and from all the teams. So I'll try and make the most of it. I'm just living the dream, and yeah, super happy every day.
Great run out there today. Best of luck for the rest of the season, especially in about a month in Nashville.
Thank you so much.
That's Alex Palou, 3rd place finisher today in the Honda Indy 200.
A 3rd place finisher at a place that he first was introduced to the NTT IndyCar Series a couple of years ago, Davey, when Dale Coyne tested him right here at Mid-Ohio.
Right here at Mid-Ohio. Probably why it's one of his favorite tracks. He said he loves driving Indy cars around here, and it just shows the talent that this kid has, and good to have him in the series. And as we just talked about with his other teammate Ericsson, Chip has a stout field of drivers right now, and man, they're getting the job done. And right now, I know we have ways to go, but 39-point lead, that's a pretty nice cushion going into towards the end of the season.
Well, and as we mentioned, Davey, he has the benefit of the 2 wins, but as long as he keeps, he may not win another race, but as long as he keeps piling up these podiums in these top 5s, I mean, conventional wisdom tells you he's going to be there for the long haul.
That's exactly right. He is going to be there for the long haul, and we still, we've seen another first winner this year. So we've only had 2 guys win 2 races or win double up in the series. It tells you how competitive it is and how hard it is to win races. And with him having 2 of them, it's pretty impressive.
So the struggles today for Colton Herta, Davey, a front row starter. We'll talk more about that, but let's hear from what has to be a very happy winner in Joseph Newgarden.
19th career win for Joseph Newgarden. First this season. Congratulating his crew guys right now. High fives all around. They weigh drivers after sessions. The next time you hop on the scales, you're going to be, 10, 15 pounds lighter with this weight finally lifted off your shoulders?
Oh, man, I'm so thrilled that we were able to get, things to go our way. It's been a tough slog the last 3 races. Just had, things left and right not going into place for us. But we've had the speed, we've had the team. It's not for a lack of effort, I can tell you that. All these boys, they worked so hard overnight. We had to change an engine last night. So I feel like anything that could be thrown at us has pretty much been done. But we finally, we knocked one down, put one on the board. We're gonna have to do that probably 3 or 4 more times. But plenty capable. I know we can win any race we go into. So very excited about Nashville. It's gonna be a huge race, I think, in my home city, and I hope we can do a great job there.
Well, it's one thing for you to keep the faith and you to keep the energy level up when you come so close, but what does it say about all of these guys to keep putting that effort forward?
Well, each member here is committed. They're here for the cause. They know exactly what we're fighting for, and they know when things go against us, we got to keep moving forward. That's what we preach. It's one race at a time. So you can't let these things get you down. You just got to keep going forward. I wish things could be different. We probably could have had maybe 3 wins on the board by now. But it's, that's the past. We got to focus on the future. We got 1. Let's be thankful for that, and let's try and get some more.
But you're still in it. You came into this weekend as 1 of 4 within 100 points of that championship. And you're going to your hometown the next time we're on track. How special is that experience going to be?
I'm excited. I never dreamed of driving Indy cars in Nashville, let alone the downtown city streets. So it's going to be an experience. I can't wait to see what it's all about.
Congratulations, Joseph.
Thanks.
69 points back, and Alex Wolf, let's hear from a hard-charging Marcus Ericsson, who finished second.
Hard charging is exactly right. Marcus Ericsson taking a well-deserved drink and some refreshment after a hot drive out there. And Marcus, your team was coaching on the fuel numbers all throughout the day. Then they told you late in the race that you had overtakes available. Is there anything more you could have done to run down Joseph Newgarden for that win?
Nah, I don't know. I think we tried everything we got there, and he was strong all weekend. But
I knew our car was, or I felt our car was really strong on the back tire, so it was maybe a little bit too much on the reds in the first stint, so that gap that we lost there was hard to reel in, but we were coming strong there at the end, and a couple of more laps would have been interesting to see, us challenging Joseph for that win, but like I said, he's been strong all weekend, so he deserves victory, but we're happy as a team. The team did a great job this weekend. P2, P3, P4 with the 3 cars is a really, really strong result.
You talk about the great job of the team, especially this 8 car. You had the Fast 9 at Indianapolis, the win in race 1 in Detroit, second here today. What has it been about this 8 car that everything just really seems to be firing on all cylinders in 2021?
We've been working hard, and we've been determined and believing in ourselves, and we know we can perform. We've been one of the strongest race cars for the last 1.5 seasons since I came here, and been struggling a bit on qualifying day for different reasons, but today, we started up front after a good qualifying yesterday, and then we show what we can do. We show that we can be up there and fight with the best in this series, and that's where we aim to be and where we should be. So P5 in the championship now, and looking forward and then looking ahead, trying to get some more positions before the end of the year.
Does the Husky chocolate taste even sweeter on the podium?
It does. It tastes very good. A cold Husky chocolate now would be great.
That's Marcus Ericsson, a great run, second place, keeping great company. Congratulated by both Dario Franchitti and Mike Hull after a runner-up finish here at Mid-Ohio.
And let's hoping the box of Husky chocolate arrives at WIMA in Lima, Ohio for that plug by Alex Wolf. Well done, Alex and Joel Sebastianelli for sure. Davey Hamill, let's talk about the Manufacturers Championship. While Chevy got to victory lane, Honda's opened it up a bit. It's 863 to 790 with Honda taking the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th positions.
Yeah, how about that? They have all but 2 in the top 10. Pretty impressive by Honda, but they want the victory. This is the Honda race here, and Chevrolet came and snagged it, and that's what competition's all about. But Honda's looking good in the championship right now.
We pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the IndyCar Radio Network. Music City, Nashville, Tennessee, and the NTT IndyCar Series. What a combination. I think so very many are excited about. And we welcome Chris Parker, Big Machine Music City, GP president. Hey, congratulations. I know you guys are awfully excited, huh?
Yes, thanks so much. We really appreciate it. Extremely excited about the opportunity to be joining all of the other promoters and other events on the NTT Series. Couldn't be more excited to show off Nashville Music City, Big Machine Music City Grand Prix to all the race fans.
Be here before you know it, August 6th through the 8th, in fact. Track build getting underway. Give us some highlights, what people could look forward to on this layout. A fabulous layout designed by Tony Cotman. It's a little over 2 miles in length.
Indeed, 2.17 miles exactly. Very interesting course design. We think it encompasses all sorts of opportunities, very challenging, very competitive, great viewing locations, really unique features, of course, going over the Cumberland River to and from downtown area, going around Nissan Stadium to some degree, has an area where Tony thinks we could be 5 wide coming into turn 9. So there are some really unique features, and hopefully the drivers really enjoy this course that he has designed.
Yeah, ticket demand has been high. Ticket sales are going well. A lot of folks inquiring about single-day tickets, those because of work responsibilities and everything, maybe can only make race day on Sunday. So when can they expect to have an opportunity to get those tickets?
Yep, absolutely appreciate that. Single-day tickets do go on sale this coming Tuesday, July 6th, so just after the 4th of July holiday, just after the races in Mid-Ohio. So Tuesday, July 6th, 10 a.m., single-day tickets go on sale, both a reserved grandstand option and general admission for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And to your point, Mark, if people can only make it out for 1 or 2 days based on work schedule, travel, etc., there are now opportunities for everybody to make it out for some portion of the inaugural Big Machine Music City Grand Prix.
Chris Parker, Big Machine Music City Grand Prix president, is our guest. And so Brooks and Dunn, among the legendary acts already scheduled to entertain. Can you give us any more details as to who we might see?
Indeed. One of the things that we've talked about all along with the creation of this event was that it had to be more than racing, that if you're going to be in Nashville, Tennessee, you've got to have significant music components. We've got a tremendous lineup of artists all day long, every day, culminating in marquee shows every night from the main stage, as you alluded to and referenced, Friday night, which is our Wesley Financial Group Freedom Friday, saluting all of those who serve and protect. Brooks and Dunn, Jamie Johnson, Tyler Farr, Vince Neil, a couple of other folks in the works on Friday night, a full Grand Ole Opry show on Sunday night, referring to it as the Grand Ole Prix, which will be headlined by Alan Jackson. We'll also include Riley Green, Justin Moore, Danielle Bradbury, and Callista Clark. Also, race favorite Tim Duggar performing on Saturday afternoon, and a big announcement coming next week as to our headline concert for Saturday evening.
Didn't take long, from what I understand, for you to be welcomed into the fold. Bud Dacre and the good folks at the Detroit Grand Prix told us that they essentially handed you their binder, and so I think a lot of promoters, from what I understand, have worked closely with you all in hopes of making your event as successful as possible.
No question about it. I think that everybody associated with the NTT Series, from IndyCar, from IMS, from Detroit, Bud Dacre, Michael Montry, have been fantastic to us, really have welcomed us in, want us to be successful, and we are extremely appreciative of all of their support. I mean, these are people who have been in the business and been running events like ours for years. And so if they're willing to assist, willing to lend a hand, give you some insight, we are extremely appreciative of all of their support. And it goes without saying that without it, given the tight time frame that we had with the COVID-19 pandemic and some of the delays associated, we'd be in a very different place if folks like that had not been willing to assist us.
Lastly, most importantly, that web address, Chris, where people can get ticket information and event info.
Well, I appreciate you asking. So it's musiccitygp.com. Again, it's musiccitygp.com. That's where you can access information about the track, hotel packages, ticket packages, any information that you may want to know about a potential visit to Nashville for the Big Machine Music City Grand Prix.
And again, in advance, sincere congratulations, all the best for the event August 6th to the 8th. We appreciate your time.
Thank you so much, and really do appreciate it.
Chris Parker, Big Machine Music City Grand Prix president. Look forward to it August 6th to the 8th. We'll have the final rundown. Some closing comments from Mid-Ohio when we come back. Love to be able to give you our usual full field rundown, but they've taken our timing and scoring away. I'm looking at blank screen, so we can't do that. So go to IndyCar.com very, very shortly, where the final results will be posted, because there are post-race inspections and things of that nature that need to be taken care of. And Davey Hamilton, that this was not only Joseph Newgarden's day, it was Joseph Newgarden's weekend.
Absolutely, Mark. I mean, he dominated this race unloaded the weekend, and much needed. His first win of the season, first win for Roger Penske on the anniversary 50 years ago from his first win. So a lot of cool things with Ericsson, Plo, Dixon, and Rossi in that top five. Pretty impressive. Guys needed a little bit of luck, like Rossi. He needed that. That's like a win for that team. Ray Hall in Loco in 6th, Grosjean Award, Ferrucci, and Sato the top 10.
For Colton Herta, I know that he killed it once, had an issue with the fuel hose mechanism, and he had to make a late stop for fuel as a result of all of that. But all in all, Davey, it could have really been a disastrous day for Colton Herta, but he persevered and came back with a pretty solid top 10 run.
Yeah, well, actually 13th. He actually at that last pit stop, unfortunately, fell to that 13th position, and just one of those Andretti days. Really, things not going their way, fuel hose malfunctioning, Colton unfortunately stalled in the pits, and then that last lap. When you got a pit on lap 79 and 80, that's always painful. But still, through all that and getting the top 13 is pretty impressive. Ahead of, by the way, Simon Pagenaud didn't really have any problems. So that tells you how fast he was.
About a month off, in fact. You heard us. We don't get together again until August 8th on the streets of Nashville. Looking forward to invading Music City with the NTT IndyCar Series. And I know from a driver's perspective, especially if you're Joseph Newgarden, you'd love to stay in that rhythm and stay active and stay in the race car. But I think, in all honesty, I wonder if sometimes some of these teams have really fully recovered from all the activities throughout the month of May and early June. So I think a bit of a reset for all of these race teams throughout the paddock.
Yeah, it is. I miss it. I love racing every darn weekend, and I'll be at a race somewhere. But we love the NTT IndyCar Series. We can't wait to get to Nashville. It is a month off. It is a nice reset and a little break for these guys. First time at Nashville. We just heard all the details of that event from getting tickets to what the course is going to be like. I actually went there, went around the course just to kind of check it out and see what it's going to be like. Very interesting. Haven't ever raced or been on something that goes over a river and then back over to the stadium. So it's going to be exciting. It is Joseph's hometown, so he's going to be on it. You always want to do well in front of your home fans, and this is a great opportunity. We used to race in Nashville, but it was out of town on the Oval, so the first time downtown with all the concerts lined up, and I'm excited. Actually, I got a King of the Wing race at the fairgrounds Saturday night, too, so I'm excited for that.
Now, Joseph just 69 points back. Scott Dixon 56 back. Pato O'Ward 39 back. And Alex Palou is your point leader. Again, Newgarden, Erickson, Palou, Dixon, Rossi, the top five. Well done as always, my friend. We'll see you soon.
Okay, see you soon.
The Honda Indy 200 at Mid-Ohio is brought to you by Firestone, the official tire of the NTT IndyCar Series. For driving IndyCar legends, American Medical Response, official partner of the NTT IndyCar Series, and the AMR IndyCar Safety Team. Racing Electronics, in-car race communications provided by Racing Electronics. The Indy Racing Experience, the fastest seat in sports. The Children's Foundation, proud sponsor of Racing for Kids. Hinchman Racing Uniforms. Nothing fits like a Hinchman. Speedway, official fuel and convenience store. Coors Light, cold as the Rockies. Coors Light is proud to be the official beer partner of the IndyCar Series. Coors Light, made to chill. By Safety Clean, official environmental service partner of the NTT IndyCar Series. Racing Optics, the official aero screen and helmet tear-off of the NTT IndyCar Series. BorgWarner, official turbocharger of the IndyCar Series. Owens Corning, official safer barrier provider of the NTT IndyCar Series, and by NTT, official technology and title partner. Our driver analyst, Davey Hamilton, covering the action in the turns, Nick Yeoman, Michael Young, and Jake Query. In the pits, great job, Joel Sebastianelli and Alex Wolf. The chief engineer and on-site producer is Rick Evans. Satellite support by Scott Brigette. Our producer and master control operator in our Indianapolis studios, Sam Rumza. The network director is Chris Pollock. This is Mark James, hoping you will join us August 8th when the NTT IndyCar Series makes its debut on the streets of Nashville for the Music City Grand Prix. And don't forget to download your copy of the 105th Indianapolis 500 radio broadcast. Just go to IMS.com, click on the History tab, and then select Historical Race Broadcasts.
The preceding was an exclusive copyrighted presentation of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Radio Network.